Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Bros Who Think Podcast. My name is Lyndon Burton, a.k.a. Young Boy D-Wits, a.k.a. the People's Champ, a.k.a. Beard Gang. Icy Main, Icy Gang is in the motherfucking building. This is episode 162, and we got the full gang in here. To my left, we got Mr. Doom with the do-rag. Do-rag Doom is in the building. And then we got Bandana Brooklyn on the bottom. What is that? What is going on today? How you gentlemen doing? I'm going to start off with Brooklyn Doom just because we ain't heard from him in 2 weeks. Brooklyn, how is you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. Adjusting to the new work schedule and shit. It's a bit of an adjustment, but we getting there.
Yeah, we back in here. And I see you got the cross earring. Okay. I see how this stunning on niggas. What is up, Doom? How you doing?
Man, chilling, man. I'm feeling good this morning. I hit my little NBA parlay. Everybody was doubting the Nuggets. I won me a little 150 last night. Shout out Jamal Murray, man.
We gonna have to add.
I'm gonna say this. If I ever see Dell Demps in person, I'm stealing off on him. Straight up. That nigga passed up on Jamal Murray for some Buddy fucking Hill, bro.
Well, look, so one of my homies tweeted, shout out to Ryan Aber of Bourbon Street Shots. Ryan had me laughing last night. Ryan tweeted, okay, so Pels, last era, we passed up on Jamal. The David Griffin era, we passed up on Hero for Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
Just the tear emoji.
I still don't think that the Hero thing is as bad yet. I think with time, Jackson
that Hero thing looks worse. Every clutch shot that nigga hit in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I ain't gonna cap. Tyler Hero is fucking nice, but I think Jackson Hayes gonna have a crucial role for the Pelicans if he stick around.
It's not gonna be like Buddy Hield. I think Jackson Hayes is gonna turn out just fine.
The Jamal Murray shit was worse because we drafted Buddy, traded for Boogie, who left at the end of that season. So it's literally we just gave away Jamal Murray for nothing.
And then if we would have had Jamal Murray at this period, we could have got rid of Lonzo and had draft assets and then rocked Jamal, Brandon Ingram, and then Zion and been stud. But even here, bro, when I saw Hero come off that screen, it was down by this was when it was down in the fourth quarter. And I know we're going to talk more basketball and Bros Who Ball, but just to get this out of the way, it was down by 6. That nigga came off of a screen with 2 niggas in his face and just said, yow, and just knocked. That's a cold white boy, bro.
Nice.
Like low key, as much as I love Luka Doncic, I might like Tyler Hero more just for his swagger. Like Luka Doncic is 1,000% a better player than Tyler Hero. But just the way Tyler Hero carries himself, I appreciate it.
He got a lot of confidence on the court. You could tell for sure.
That's a cold white boy, bro.
That's something that young niggas don't usually have.
No, not at all.
I'm Exhibit A is Lonzo Ball.
Exhibit B is Paul George.
Bro, oh my God. Oh man, they downgraded that nigga from Pandemic P to Panic P. I was like, God damn, this nigga, bro.
Bro, when he hit that shot off the backboard, that was and shout out to all you niggas out there that's retweeting my old tweets, bringing them up. I fuck with y'all because that just showed me I got to get better at my stuff. But that's not my fault because on the Clippers, there's no reason why they should have lost. And again, we're going to touch more about this in Bros Who Ball. But them niggas need to be embarrassed. Down 3-1. To me, this is worse than the Warriors 3-1. Because at least the Warriors was playing LeBron. What? This not worse? The Nuggets? I'm not
going to let you sit here and disrespect
the Nuggets
and Jamal Murray. They're not.
So who better? Who better?
Games on the Jazz to get past them. You gonna sit here and tell me that he ain't been balling out? This nigga trying to tell me Jamal and Fat Boy Jokic is better than Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and LeBron. Get the fuck out of here, B. You gonna look me in my face and tell me that somebody's playing better than Jamal Murray in these playoffs right now?
You gonna look me in my face and tell me the LeBron 3-1 is not more acceptable than this?
No.
Nigga, you out your mind. You out your fucking mind. What the hell?
I think it's even. No team should lose up 3-1. I don't think it's acceptable.
This not even. This is embarrassing. This is fucking. They lost to a nigga named Torrey Craig and Michael Porter Jr., anti-vaxxer, anti-black ass. Get the fuck out of here. Like
that. He wasn't like the number 1 recruit out of high school. Come on, bro. You OG, bro.
Well, that nigga is anti-black now. So.
I'm not shocked. There's a lot of
dude, which one worse? Which one worse in your opinion?
I don't know. it's tough, bro. But I seen this crazy ass stat that Doc Rivers has the most 3-1 losses.
The worst. He cannot close anytime it's a game.
That is fucking crazy.
Someone tweeted that last night. Someone was like, "Oh, y'all need to watch out. Doc Rivers is horrible in game 7s."
He got the most.
He fired
3-1 losses, like up 3-1 and lose the series in the history of the NBA.
That's crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
He done, and if I'm
Kawhi, even more nuts when you got the roster that you got. Like, there's no way you should.
That's why I say it's worse.
And Paul George, and like especially when the bar was set so high from the jump. I
understand the Warriors had the Warrior team, but like this team was Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Williams, Montrez. That's already more than Steph Curry, Draymond, and Klay. That's already more.
You're bugging, bro.
That's crazy.
Like,
but I'm saying okay, but I'm comparing it. Okay, but look. You take the two teams. You take the two teams and you compare the teams they played against. I'm sorry. I expect LeBron, Kyrie, and K-Love to put up a better fight than Jamal Murray and Jokic. Now, what the fuck are we talking about?
You absolutely right on that.
I don't expect playoff P to make shots. We don't expect him to make shots. When has he ever made shots in his career?
Indiana.
In the playoff? When he got past LeBron. Show me.
No,
when he got
everything pre him snapping his leg in the USA game, he was a baller.
He was.
Ever since then,
he was always a regular season baller, though.
I'm just saying, man, I have more expectations for Kawhi. I thought that nigga was the third coming of MJ and Kobe, and this nigga just fell short and had 45 total points with Pandemic P. That's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing.
I was just about to say, I saw people bringing up, like, they was quote retweeting niggas' old tweets.
Oh, no.
First got
that happened to me.
Playoff P. Somebody said that fucking Kawhi Leonard and Paul George was a better duo than MJ.
I saw, bro.
And they quoted that shit, and it looked nasty.
It looks bad. All my tweets look disgusting. Crazy. All of them.
Man, I never had look, Paul George is a great regular season player. There are plenty of regular season ballers out there in these streets. But when it comes time to the playoffs, this is a different animal, big dog. Maybe he needs to go dark 0-30. I don't know. But right now, whatever he's doing, that shit ain't working.
Kawhi should have left Toronto at this point.
I do think the bubble playoffs
is different,
more intense than normal playoffs.
Well, I agree and disagree. Because
when I'm watching the game, because you know that they pumping all the crowd noise and we hearing the commentators, so it feel kind of similar. But you gotta think about how different
it's a gym. It's a part. Yeah, it's like
in a rec gym.
Yeah,
than it is to play it in front of thousands.
But that's why I think it's harder, and I think it's difficult but easy at the same time, because you got to think, when Jamal Murray had a crowd, that nigga wasn't hitting shots in front of his girl. Like I still think that's a big thing to it. Like I think
that's what I'm saying.
The practice niggas are balling, but like we finding out who can play at all times. Like I think the crowd adds another factor, but we're gonna talk more basketball later. I just had to get that out because that was just disturbing last night. I was just so flabbergasted. Not that I care, because it's whatever, but like still flabbergasted. So let's get to the first topic at hand, which is a big topic. So Breonna Taylor's family, again, arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor always. Her family's getting 12 M's. They settled a lawsuit, but the mother said that we must not lose focus on what the real job is. With that being said, it's time to move forward with the criminal charges because she deserves much more than that. They said that they wouldn't have accepted the settlement fee without police reform in the city. I just don't know. If I'm being honest, I just don't know. Once you get that check, I don't know how you can control that. You know what I mean? Like, once you get the check, you can't do nothing about it. Like, you can't. My thing is, if you're going to do anything, don't accept the check till they do something. But, like, even then, if you settle, you got to get them to write something on paper. Like, you got to get a contract to where if they breach that, you can sue them. So I don't know the legalities of it, but I just don't know how they can expect police reform by saying that we agreed to do this settlement to get it, unless you got it in writing. Unless you don't have it in writing, and then I don't know if that's going to pop off, but I'm happy the family got 12 M's. They deserve it.
That's great, bro. Honestly, like, I think the only negative to it is it's like, you got the 12 M's, but that still don't bring Breonna back.
That don't bring Breonna back, and I don't think it's gonna get her killers arrested. If I'm being honest.
I think it lowered the chance you get the killers arrested.
That's my thing. Yeah, 1,000.
I'm sure that the 12 M's that came with some paperwork saying, all right, nigga, y'all got to stop pursuing all this extra shit. You know what I mean?
1,000%. And that's why I said you got to get it in writing that they're going to do police reform, because if not, that's not happening. B, what you think about all this?
I really think that once her family took the 12 M's, I thought, like I was reading it yesterday, and I thought to myself, yeah, they took the 12 M's, cool, but now that means that the killers walk free. Yeah. They may not release again, but they still walk free.
I don't see how you get them arrested at this point. Cause and look, I'm not shaming the family for taking 12 M's. I'm not. Y'all deserve that. Do y'all thing. I'm just saying on a outside looking in perspective on getting them arrested. If I'm being honest, I don't think it happens at this point, because you can't, because now the whole pursuit of we're going after them. It doesn't matter what you do. We're going after them. We're staying on y'all ass. I'm not settling. If you don't settle, you can maybe get it accomplished. And even then you might not, but you have a better chance than if you do settle. So, but Good for them. We're going to, and I know they still protesting. So hopefully we'll see some change happen, but
them WNBA players, they wasn't having that. They was like,
they was pissed.
Is cool, but we still need them niggas arrested.
And that's the thing. I saw a lot of the activists upset, saying exactly what you just said, Doom. But it's I think they know that, once you accept that settlement, it's what can you do?
Yeah.
And
I think it's tricky, bro, because the whole situation is, I think it gotta be the nigga that issued the warrant. Because I'm thinking as just if you was to be running a police department, if I'm a cop, and somebody tell me, yo, we got this nigga wanted for murder, whatever, drugs, whatever the fuck, he at this address, go handle your business. Do they really know? You know what I mean?
And that's why
small details.
But no, that's huge. That's why you get the 12 mil. That reason, because it's we're not just gonna arrest the killers. We gotta arrest we gotta charge the DAs, everybody that read the law. Yeah, and it's that's why I don't think nothing's gonna happen, because that's why they got 12 M's, is because of exactly what you just said. But I want to say this, because I want to talk about this. A side note, this has nothing to do with this. I think we gotta chill, and y'all tell me if I'm crazy. I think we gotta chill on calling everything racist, in the sense of, there was a video of this white dude was this chick looks like Gunna. And all he said was the girl looked like Gunna. And she really did, with the orange hair and everything. And people's oh, that's racist. Or they had a white dude and a black dude in a pool, horse playing around playing basketball. The white dude threw the ball at him, hit him in his head. And then the black dude dunked on him and then threw the ball back at his head. And I know what that is. That's oh, I didn't forget you threw that ball at me. I'm scoring on your ass and I'm hitting you in the face. And people's that's racist. And I was what the fuck are y'all talking about? The more we... Yeah.
Playing basketball with your brothers, it get rough. You throw the basketball in their face, they throw it back at your face. And you
I didn't peg my brother so many times with a basketball in his face, and I didn't peg all my white friends in the face. Niggas cry, and then we get up and brush that off, but that's not racist. I think the more we call these little instances like this on the internet racist, the more we what's the word I'm looking for? We
water it down?
We water down the power of what racism actually is. A white dude saying a girl looks like Gunna isn't fucking racist. That black girl looked like Gunna. I'm gonna be the first to tell y'all. That bitch looked like Gunna. 1,000%. And if y'all think I'm racist for saying that, then nigga, I'm sorry. But she looked like Gunna. How do y'all feel about this I think we're at the right time to where, yes, we need to fight against all of this, 1,000%. But I think we also need to be careful of playing that card all the fucking time, because not everything is racist, man.
Yeah, but that's sometimes they it's like being a whistleblower, bro. The boy that cried wolf. Damn, motherfucker, not everything is racist. Yeah, not everything gotta be racist. Like you said, sometimes it was just a damn joke. And shorty look like Gunna. Shorty look like Gunna. Ain't nothing I can do about that. Exactly. But and then if it's boys being boys is rough. That's how we play. Regardless of what our skin color is, boys play rough. Period.
That's a fact.
So shit get physical. But then after that, the video probably stopped, but I guarantee they hugged it out at the end of the day.
They did 1,000%. They even posted another video that didn't get a lot of popularity, of course, because it's not what people want to see. It was them saying, "Bro, we're friends. Like, what are y'all talking about? That's my brother. Like, I don't care that he's white. Like, we get along at the end of the day."
They was playing ball in jail. They was playing ball in a pool. In a pool, right? It's like they was even playing regular ball. They was in a pool, nigga. It
wasn't like they was outside, like walking the street and somebody just threw a ball at him. It was like, fuck you, N-word. Like, no, that shit didn't happen like that. Like, what the fuck? Dude, how do you feel about all this? Because I feel like you agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much exactly what y'all saying. It's kind of like the situation with, like, the women that accuse men of sexual assault and they haven't actually been sexually assaulted. What it does is, if you crying rape all the time and you know nobody did you shit, out of women who actually are victims, nobody want to hear them because bitches be lying all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a fact.
And I think we already reaching that point where it's like, you say some pro-black shit and white people immediately go, look at these niggas trying to make it about them again. You know what I'm saying? And what's fucked up, even though I'm as pro-black as it come, I'm starting to feel them, bro. Because there's a lot of shit where it's like, all right, that's not a race issue, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know what I mean? And niggas is like in the streets hollering and shit, going crazy.
You know what I felt that way about?
Nothing to do with what's up.
Not to cut you off, I felt that way about the Steve Nash hiring. I'm like, if it takes like a little coof of knowledge of just like, let's look at this. Like, granted, yes, we need to hire black coaches. Yes, black coaches aren't getting the fair shake as white people. But let's look at this situation, because I think if they would have hired someone like if they would have hired someone like Kenny Atkinson or like some random white coach, it would have been different. But the fact is, Kevin Durant, and it was the coach that he like connected the most with at Golden State was Steve Nash. He has been working out with Steve Nash in the offseason for like 4 to 5 years. Kyrie Irving, you have to get a coach that not only KD likes, but that Kyrie Irving will respect. And Kyrie Irving can't tell shit to Steve Nash. Like, the only other coach I think you could get for that team is like Chauncey Billups. That's the only other coach I think that would have made that team work. Now, granted, will Steve Nash be successful? I don't fucking know. But like, to say that's a race-driven hire and that's white privilege, no, that's not white privilege. That's NBA privilege, if anything.
Right.
That's what I thought it was. He was saying something like, Stephen A. said something about like Sam Cassell. And I thought to myself, like, if I'm in the office and I got KD and Kyrie sitting in front of me and I tell them it's between Sam Cassell and Steve Nash, how many times do you think I got to ask them that question for them to say Sam Cassell?
Bro, how many times Kyrie Irving, if you had Sam Cassell, would say, sit your ass down, nigga, I'm better than you? Like, what are we talking about? Like,
that's a fact.
Like, and the thing is, if you look at Steve Nash, and I found this out by listening to Rajah Bell do an interview with Bill Simmons, Sean Marion was a basket case. And I didn't even notice watching basketball. I thought Sean Marion was a head case like Kyrie Irving. Stoudemire was a head case like Kyrie Irving. And Steve Nash made them all work together because he was the coach on the floor. And Rajah even said, like, Mike D'Antoni was a great coach, but that system doesn't work without Steve Nash. Steve Nash did things and saw things on the floor that Mike D'Antoni drew the X's and O's, but Steve Nash made the X's and O's actually work. And we see, if you look at all the other D'Antoni teams like James Harden and them, they don't make it work. And I think that's an attribute to the cerebralness of Steve Nash. And that's why I'm saying, not everything is fucking racist. Like, it was an NBA privilege at the end of the day. It wasn't, and not even that, it's an NBA superstar privilege. Because, like, you got 2 generational talents. I don't know too many people that could, if it's not Phil Jackson, if it's not like some of the best coaches ever, I don't know who could get those 2 to buy in.
And I also think that, what's his name? There was a couple other people that he helped. I want to say Quentin Richardson and
Bro, Quentin Richardson not going back into coaching because he got a high-ass podcast.
People that he's helped in his career path. Black dudes are vouching for Steve Nash. And here comes Stephen Kuhn A. Smith talking about it's racist. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude, Stephen Jackson, go on his podcast without nobody telling him to do that and shouting out all the good things that Steve Nash has done. And I'm like, so where you coming from with this if all these players is backing him up?
That's what I'm saying. And even KD came out and said it himself. That's why I'm like, we got to stop calling everything racist because not everything is racist. There's things behind it that just it's not what it seems. Also, we call out shit when it's bad. I gotta call out shit when it's good. Josh Gillie argued in court on Monday. This is some Lafayette shit. Argued in court that the judge should not block the access to the body camera footage and other records related to Trayford Pellerin. So he's actually living up to what he said at the funeral, because I was going to come in here and say he's a fucking clown going into the funeral of Trayford Pellerin while he's doing the opposite of what he's saying. He actually is trying to fight for both sides. So I got to applaud Josh Gillie at that point, because we've been tearing him down for weeks, rightfully so. But like when he does something right, you gotta try to like lift that up, in my opinion, because you got to call both sides. Yeah. If we're gonna comment on one side, we got to comment on the other.
Right.
But I will say they've been on that nigga ass for weeks.
And that's probably why.
It didn't come from just a change of heart. You know,
no, it came from the pressure, and rightfully so.
Yeah. He probably the first local Lafayette politician that I ever seen niggas actually. Like, I was proud of Lafayette watching that shit, because like I was saying, I think it was last podcast, like, I've never seen anybody care about Lafayette politics to the level that they do at
right now. Yeah, no, I agree. And I got to applaud everybody for putting that pressure on him. But I got to say, when he did something right, we got to call it out. Let's get to the Kanye rant. Let's get to it. I was thinking about this all night. I think I'm okay with what Kanye's saying, in the sense of, yes, black people need to fight for their masters. Yes, we need to do better with our contracts and all that shit. But I'm sitting here like, how you going to sit here and say we need to get J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick in a room when you've been bashing these niggas for months? Like, I'm Drake, I'm not getting in no room with your ass, nigga. I'll sit in a room with Jay-Z, Cole, and Kendrick, but not your crazy ass. I'm sorry. That's where I draw the line. Like, I'm not doing it. And then also saying use your government money to go buy land. Nigga, I don't know no land that costs $1,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, fucking sorry. Yeah. But like Doom said last week, the message behind it is there. It is there. But like some of the shit is just outlandish. I'm gonna get beat taken and I'm gonna let you go, Doom.
Brooklyn, what you think? Though, he always talk about the owning your masters and the land thing. Like
his shit done.
Yes, I hear you. You keep telling me that. You keep telling me that. So, but he always tries to slip in some slick shit in the middle of the rant. Because the rant is always the same. It's always, we got to own our masters. I need to see their contracts. I'm the new Moses. Everything is a slave shit. Blah, 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 blah.
Yo, stop calling himself Moses and Nat Turner is nuts.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, come on, son. I'm tired of you telling us the same thing and putting yourself in some higher seat at the same time.
Nat Turner, bro. Nat Turner was a slave and died for shit. You're not dying for shit, nigga.
You want to be a martyr so bad. Like, cut it out, man.
Oh, shit. Doom, what you think? Because I know you feeling away.
Man, you know I'm going to put my cape on for Kanye. And I'm going to just say this. Kanye is a nigga who he got weird methods to reach whatever goal he trying to reach. I understand that. The fight that he is fighting is extremely important.
It is.
So,
a good fight.
to all the people that I feel like they focus on criticizing how he going about fighting the fight, because we can go back and forth on, you know, calling yourself Moses, calling yourself Nat Turner. We could do that all day. We can say, oh nigga, stop calling yourself that. You ain't that. But the fight that he fighting is the same shit that Button doing with his podcast. It's the same.
I agree.
Like we gotta have, as black people, we gotta have that where unless you willing to strap your boots on and come out with your rifle and join on the front lines, you just gotta relax and let him do his thing.
We gotta have ownership.
You can't step in the way. Like
now, I will say
what they want you to do.
I will say this because I agree, and I'm looking at it from the perspective that you are doing. That he's trying to get all musicians to have their masters and have better contracts and not get these ridiculous contracts. But another way one can look at it, and I saw this tweet when Kanye saying let him have their masters and let him control all. Nigga, you trying to take over for the Universals and shit? Nah, if this nigga trying to be a black owned but just do the Universal but still be fucking niggas, that's crazy too. But
I honestly don't believe Ye would do that. I'm gonna tell you why. you already one of the richest niggas in the world. Like you in that top tier of niggas when it come to financial shit. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you why I think he can. Because look at how he did Drake. And I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about Drake with Find Your Love. And you go back, watch those old interviews where Drake was like, I don't know what I got to do. He's my favorite artist. I'm trying to do all this, but he's just trying to own everything I'm doing, trying to stop everything I'm doing. Basically, he was stopping samples, stopping all of this because he didn't want Drake to get to a level. And this is on paper. So, like, I'm not just going to sit here and act like Kanye's this holier than thou nigga that don't have bad intentions.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'm not saying that. And I do think that he's always had, even from the beginning, he's always had something with Drake where he was like, I'm the top spot nigga and you my only threat. So they definitely had some real clashing of heads. Like that, I'm not arguing. But I feel like at this point in Kanye's life and what he doing, like I just can't see him trying to say, oh, I'm taking over everybody master so I can take the spot of the label and fuck everybody. Like I just don't see that coming from Ye.
I feel that.
That's just and I could be wrong. I could have too much faith in Ye, but I really think that he, like, when you put because bro, you gotta understand, like, Joe went on his pod, talked a little bit about ownership and freedom.
Kanye just posted his contracts. Like he posted the full contract out on Twitter. It's out there right now.
His label said, my label won't even tell me what my masters is worth because they know a nigga can afford it. Just that tweet right there is gonna start a whole, bro. We about to see a whole second wave of it's crazy. They about to put some shit out.
He better not do nothing.
Crazy though, because I feel like that conversation has been sparked ever since Russell bought Ciara's masters. That's when everybody was thinking, damn, maybe we should get our masters. You know what I'm saying? And it's right though, because it turns out that some of their masters is in their budget. They can buy it. Now, some of them obviously can't afford it, but there's a lot of niggas that can't afford their masters.
Yeah.
So, like, niggas show me the offer.
Ciara, even though she did have a solid run whenever she was on top, her masters is a whole nother conversation compared to some.
Well, I mean, Russell would have been able to buy a lot of niggas' masters, though. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say he actually broke nothing.
And look.
But I'm saying from a label standpoint, they a little more willing to give up
Ciara than Kanye. Yeah, for sure.
10 albums of fucking platinum shit.
And look, let me say this. And because this is also true. If I'm looking at this as a business, because granted, I agree with Kanye's fighting for it, but if I got to look at the other side, why do I want to sell his master? Just because he yelling, and it doesn't make me racist not to sell him his masters back. I gotta say that now, because like it's a business. I own this shit. Like if I own your masters and you make the biggest songs ever, why I gotta sell you your shit back, nigga? That shit gonna make me money for perpetuity. That's gonna make me money for life. Like that's not my fault. You signed a shitty contract.
And I'm about to say, I bet you in his contract, it probably says that he can't even make an offer to buy his masters for like 20 years or some shit like that. And he's trying to speed up the process.
And look, that's all I'm like, because so I agree with you, Doom, that like we got to do this fight, and this is a great fight for creatives and everything. But also, we got to stop, because like I said this with Taylor Swift, and if I'm going to say it for her, I got to say it for this. We got to stop saying that these artists are getting these treatments because they signed themselves into this position.
Right. Now, you decided, and you signed on the dotted line. That wasn't me. That was you.
Yeah.
Hey, but I will say there is tactics that go into that.
Oh, for sure.
Take advantage of people in positions where they might be coming, you know, the typical artist situation. Like the way they acquire artists, they find these niggas that's in the streets.
That's true.
You know, hustling, they ain't, bro.
But my thing for that, instead of buying chains, instead of spending your drug money on cars, go get you a lawyer, or go to checking for cash, get you a payday loan, and get you a lawyer that can read this shit and get you an entertainment lawyer to where, I could pay this loan back after, to get you the right contract. I think yes, the fight is to get better contracts and what Joe and Kanye are fighting for, but I also think that there has to be a conversation of stop spending your money on stupid shit and get you the right people to look at your contracts.
Another thing is, part of the scam is that they hook you up with these people that they'll say, "Oh,
I would never take their lawyer." Yeah, no, that's retarded.
And I mean, yeah,
that definitely happens.
And looking at that in hindsight, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like from where we are now. But that's why I think the fight that Joe and Ye is having is so important. Because 10 years ago, niggas didn't even know that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Niggas
I agree with that.
Oh, he a lawyer. Not realizing that, you getting a lawyer that's been working hand in hand with the label for years.
Where he on their payroll.
Right.
You can't do
this lawyer don't have your best interests at heart at all. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
But 10 years ago, niggas wasn't even hip to the game. And that's why I say, like, a lot of niggas that's, talking shit on Ye, talking shit on Joe, worrying about what he do with his dogs and all this bullshit. Like, if that's what you want to focus on, if you black, you need to just step aside and let them do their thing.
And look, you know how I feel about Joe. I agree with that one. I think Joe is the fight. Honestly, if I got to rank who I want fighting for me, I got to go with Joe over Ye. Just because, like, the way Joe fighting for it, I can see tangible change. I don't know. Ye just yelling.
Man, what
and it is good yelling.
Think about the Joe and Charlotte beef. I feel like it's heating up.
It is. Look.
I didn't expect this shit.
Look, okay. I think Charlemagne is, and look, I respect everything Charlemagne's doing. I respect what Charlemagne has done. Charlemagne is one of the inspirations for what we do. I just think Charlemagne, the way he's going about it, some of these podcasts with Black Effect might, if they don't 100% own it, their podcast, and they just gave it away to Black Effect, and Black Effect pays them a stipend. And like, I think some of the business deals that Charlemagne does is shady. I wouldn't conduct myself like that. I think if, like, for example, if we make it and they just trying to pay me and not y'all, I'm not having that. Cause like, all my niggas got to eat. Without y'all, this shit doesn't run. And I just feel like I fall on the Joe side where he trying to lift all of his niggas up and then he eats. Right. I agree with that. Like, and I think Charlemagne's fighting for black people. I just think the way he's going about it is a little nasty. It's a little it's kind of nasty. Be what you feel, because you making faces down there. I see it.
Oh, I was making faces because I knew you was gonna be PC with your answer. when he portrayed the question, I knew you had to start with, I respect everything he does. And I'm like, fuck you, Charlemagne.
I do.
Fuck what you think, man. All I'm saying is, you're right. There's definitely shady shit in his business. And I feel like if somebody calling them out about it, I mean, they have every right to, because fuck you mean this, you giving me a stipend, nigga? Like, I want to see the numbers, nigga. You're not about to give me no base.
And iHeart and Black Effect not about to own my content that I'm making, and y'all giving me like a part, like 20%. Like, no, nigga.
If my shit was popping that week, I still got paid the same. If I got $1 million for one episode and I got paid the same, nah, nigga, let me see the paperwork.
I got to get over 60% ownership, and then y'all could take 30, 40, like maybe 40. But like, y'all not getting majority percent ownership of something I created, and I got my own fan base just to come on some Black iHeart like station. I'm sorry.
You gotta look at it like this. Even if you sign with Black Effect and you get 50%, which I doubt they get.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Let's say you get 50%.
That's
already 25% of the whole pie, because iHeart own the other 50. And you know for a fact, iHeart ain't trying to just give money to these niggas. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I think Joe Ye mission is so important, and that's why I lost a lot of respect for Charlemagne. Because I love Charlemagne. I honestly believe, as far as like just radio / podcast,
the best.
He is the best at what he does. Like, there's nobody, especially in the black realm, there's nobody better. Like, honestly, to me, he's still better at just the radio shit. He's better than Joe.
Oh, he's the best radio. He's the best radio personality in the world right now. He's nobody better.
The number one nigga, bro. But that right there, because when I listened to Joe rant, it was basically like, my nigga, you over here criticizing what I'm doing, and me and you are trying to do two different things. Like, I understand that you might be over there getting to a bag, my nigga, and that's great.
But is everybody is like wax eating? Is everybody all your niggas eating? Like that's my problem.
Even on Black Effect, he couldn't even get wax in it.
Bro, you remember what we talked about last week? And I told you I didn't think I saw his name on the announcement, and you was like, no way. And I was like, you might be right, Doom. There's no way he bringing his shit and not bringing wax. Wax is not on there, and that's his nigga.
Wax, bro, that's been his nigga since South Carolina days, before the fame and shit, my nigga.
Yep.
And I'm saying, if you doing all that and you want niggas to clap it up that you doing some black shit,
and you're not gonna take your niggas.
What I'm seeing especially from what Joe was saying, which made a lot of sense, is all you did was partner with iHeart and brought them more employees.
Yep, that's a fact.
They paid you a little service fee for the trouble. Yep. But you ain't do nothing for black creators, my nigga.
Not a thing. All you did was get Envy and Angela another check, get yourself another check with Breakfast Club, get yourself a check by bringing these employees in, and then now you're the boss of this section. But don't forget, we still the boss of you, nigga.
Right. And the fight that Joe is having, which is, it gotta be something that we ask ourselves as creators. Why do we give such a large piece of the pie to some niggas that, one, they not involved in the creation of it, they not involved in any other promotion shit? Like, yeah, they might fund some shit, but that's basically a distribution deal with a label.
And the only way
why do you get half, my nigga? Not 10%, not 20 might even be pushing,
and maybe
it.
60.
But half, my nigga.
And look, and
you just gave half to somebody just because they white and got money?
And the only reason why I think you give them half is if you're in the situation like us, for example, where they're giving you a platform with an installed listener base and it's promotion and it's bringing you to an audience that you don't have. But if I'm Drink Champs, and I done made my platform that big, you don't need them. You don't need them. You do not need them. You upgrade and you take that money that you done made and put it to marketing. You think of new stuff to add to your shit, and you grow as big as you can, and then get you a deal once you're to your maximum height. I don't understand why Nori has. If you look at Drink Champs' pie, it makes no fucking sense to me. Tidal gets a chunk. Revolt gets a chunk. iHeart gets a chunk, and Mass Effect gets a chunk. How much is left for Nori and EFN? How much?
I know that pod ain't that big.
No, and like, if I'm Horrible Decisions, y'all can't, like, Horrible Decisions came from somebody like us, where y'all were nobodies and y'all made yourself a name and y'all created one of the biggest black females podcasts on the market. If I'm Horrible,
I'd say the biggest.
If I'm Horrible Decisions, I'm waiting. Y'all got an HBO deal. Why the fuck do you need iHeart? Like, I just think certain people that deal works for, but certain people it doesn't. And like, if I'm Drink Champs, 85 South Show, like some of the niggas don't need iHeart. I just don't.
Definitely
I don't get
not
it.
85 South Show. As far as like comedy podcasts, they the best.
And that's I don't like, now see Steve Smith, he might need them. Right. Matt Barnes, they might like some people might need them, but like, to your point, Doom, why would creators do that? I think it's a case by case scenario. Whereas if you need the viewership that certain networks bring, that's when you take the deal. But if not, there's no fucking way I'm taking no fucking deal like that. But even with
podcasting though, because and this is just an honest question. Like, even with podcasting, like, I don't give a shit if you like the biggest name ever. I'm not listening to you talk for 3 hours if I'm just not interested in what the fuck you're saying. Regardless of what network you with, regardless of how much money you got in promo and all this other bullshit. Like, bro, my podcast list, because I got like a little rotation every week of the pods that I'm checking for. You know what I'm saying? And nobody making it in that rotation unless I'm interested in what the fuck they gotta say. I know that a lot of podcasts exist.
I agree with that.
I know that like I see them on YouTube, I see Facebook and shit, but
I think you're a savvy listener.
Worked different. It worked different with podcasts. And it's not like a TV show where you could run like, oh, tonight at 7, this show is on. Like, it don't work like that.
I agree with you, and then I disagree with you, because I think for listeners of podcasts like us who are like podcast fans, we don't care about your marketing employees, none of that. I'm thinking for the everyday person, if you see an ad on Facebook or you see an ad on Spotify, you may click that. Like for the average people, I think with signing with some of these people, it gives you promo and it gives you a base that you might not necessarily have that allows you to promo. But if you are already have your base established, then that shit might not, that shit doesn't matter. It just, it depends. It really depends.
And you're right. Like when we talking about a podcast like this, where we not a nationally recognized podcast, it would make sense.
It would benefit us.
But
yeah, 1,000.
You telling me that anybody, I'm saying, bro, it would be hard to find a black person that listen to podcasts that don't know Drink Champs exists.
Yeah.
Why am I giving a piece of my pie to fucking...
No, look, I don't disagree with that at all. I think Drink Champs is stupid for signing. I do, and I love EFN.
If you black and you listen to podcasts, you're not telling me that you didn't know 85 South Show exists.
And look, that goes back.
Bro.
That goes back to a conversation that me and you had off air about, and I'm not gonna say no names. I'm gonna try to say this as delicately as I can, where someone was trying to make a new platform. And they approached us to give that platform exclusive rights to our content. And I asked, number one, how much are you paying us? Number two, how much is all my niggas getting? Number three, are we exclusively have to be on your thing, or can we have our shit elsewhere? And when they said we exclusively on this and we get paid through ads that I should, and I was like, hold up. Stop that. Let's stop this already. The only reason why you trying to get me to do this because y'all so say black owned, but like y'all aren't paying us what we owed for the content that we giving us. We giving y'all free content that we've made over 4 years, and you're not giving us the rightful compensation to that. And you want the content to be a certain way. Why the fuck would I sign with? Like, what the fuck? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Like, if you want to deal with us, I'll make you a new fucking show. But I'm not about to give something that we done spent 3 years on for some fucking chump change ad. Like, what the fuck? What is that?
That was just a clown situation. I don't want to say
but it's similar. It's similar to that. It's similar. It's
very similar.
It's similar to it's a scaled down level of exactly what Charlamagne's doing.
Right.
Because
there's literally no benefit to do it.
None.
I don't
Zero.
see the benefit.
None. And it's just like, if I'm Drink Champs, you already got Mass Effect, Revolt, and Tidal eating off of you. Why? Why the fuck am I giving another piece of this small pie to iHeart?
That's why, for the life of me, I can't understand why black people, and I'm saying, like, obviously there's gonna be just the random Twitter niggas talking shit, but I don't understand why black people with a voice, like Charlamagne and all these other niggas, why would they want to talk shit on Joe Budden and what he doing?
Oh, it's because
you can't tell me that Charlamagne wouldn't love to 100% have ownership over Breakfast Club.
But see, it goes back to
100% ownership over Brilliant Idiots, which he had before this Black Effect shit. Now
we still don't know. We still don't know. He never had 100% of Breakfast Club, but Brilliant Idiots isn't on there. Like, let's not.
Brilliant Idiots is.
Oh, is there?
Brilliant Idiots on Black Effect.
Oh, well, he probably owned that. That's probably part of his contract that he owned that.
I don't think so, bro. I think once he put it in with the Black Effect shit, that's part of the deal.
I don't know. That I want. But see, I know why Charlamagne feels this way. It's because it goes back to that Kanye Drake thing. It's like, if Joe achieves, then all these people realize that we work for Charlamagne, and then I don't get the leverage and power that I have at iHeart, thus making me a boss. It's about losing. It's about whether you're for the herd or you're for self. Charlamagne's for self, and that's what it is.
But the problem that I have with it, because if you for self, I'll never knock a nigga that's doing what's best for them. My problem is when you mask it as I'm doing something so pro-black.
Oh, and that's what he doing
for the people. Like, that's where the problem lies, and that's why I lose a lot of respect for Charlamagne.
I agree.
There's plenty of situations where I'm like, you know what? I probably could look out for this person, but right now it's best to move for me.
But you're not. But see, when you're doing that, you're not trying to take down anybody else. And I think
exactly
unknowingly he's taking down other people. Well,
I don't think it's unknown.
Yeah, I don't think it's unknown.
I don't think it's unknown. Yeah, like my nigga, he's at the tax bracket where he knows the amount of money involved in what the fuck he doing. Like, and it's not a iHeart didn't get in the room and trick him. They didn't pull one over.
Oh, 1,000%. And that's why I think if Joe is successful, it stops that. Like, it stops him from taking these people who, whether or not they feel like they're successful enough, it takes them in from when you go there, it's like, oh yeah, I signed with iHeart. It's this. We're gonna get bigger. It takes that away, and now it's like, oh well, now what am I gonna bring to this table to where I can still be a partner with iHeart? That's what it is, like 1,000%. But no, I look, like I said from the jump, I lost a little respect for him. Brooklyn, what is up with your boy Offset, brother? The set, he lost his WAP.
To be honest with you, I'm shocked it really lasted this long. Like, if I had to put a bet on how long it was gonna last, I would have lost, my nigga.
Bro, they almost got a divorce before Doom was on the podcast. Like, we thought it was over that long ago.
Like, I would have made the money then. I would have had the money in hand. I would have won. But when it kept going, I'm like, damn, this nigga Offset, this nigga really outdoing himself.
Does he get child support? Does he get like a stipend? Like, you know, is she richer than him?
Absolutely.
She gotta be, because Quavo gotta have most of the money. Quavo gotta have most. They all did those separate albums, and we all know that they were all trash, but I think Quavo's did the best record.
Just because of his name.
Yeah. But he definitely gotta have most of the money. So damn. I would say that he may be getting a little
stipend. He getting some
alimony.
Yeah, alimony. To maintain. Look, he gonna argue this in court. Due to me and Cardi B getting together, she gave me an updated form of lifestyle, and so I can maintain that lifestyle. I need some alimony. Look, I ain't mad if Seth get a check.
Dr. Dre wife.
Yeah. No, he gonna pull up. Well, yes, Dr. Dre wife, but he gonna pull up more specifically. What's that lady name? Who? Wendy Williams' husband. Wendy Williams' husband said, "I got used to this lifestyle, bitch. I need a check."
That's a fact. Did y'all see what Dr. Dre wife was asking for, bro?
$2 mil a month or some shit like that.
Did you see the itemized breakdown of the $2 mil?
Wasn't it like $900,000 for entertainment?
Bro, it was like $150,000 a month for clothes, $20,000 for her cell phone, like just crazy shit.
Yeah, it's $20,000 for a cell phone and Wi-Fi. I was like, what kind of Wi-Fi is this guy?
What cell phone?
She got 100 terabytes per second.
What cell phone plan is $20,000 a month,
bro,
nigga?
I don't know, bro. She got that super fiber, nigga.
How many cell phones are on that fucking plan? Bro, ain't no fucking way, bro. Me, my mom, and my brother are all on one plan. And that shit don't even cost $1,000. Like, no
bro,
fucking way.
I'm saying all their kids are adults. All their kids are adults, my nigga. So it's nothing to do with the kids. He just got a crazy lifestyle. And what's even more wild, they divorced, but the nigga house so big, she just moved to the other side and they don't see each other, bro. Like, she still live with him. She still live with the nigga.
If I'm Dr. Dre, I'm kicking that bitch out. You want this much money, bitch? Go take this.
Like, bitch, your lifestyle ain't changed. You just moved to the other room.
Right, you moved to the other wing of the mansion now. And your lifestyle changed.
Yo, $20,000 for a cell phone plan is fucking nuts. That is outrageous. But
that's crazy
for the whole group.
Rest in peace to Cardi B and Offset relationship. I hope y'all managed through.
That's tough.
Another black love is gone and hit the dust.
I'm dead.
Another thing we got, according to Terry Crews, he said you haven't made it until you've been called a coon. Per his response on Twitter, you are not officially black and successful until they call you a coon. No, niggas, you're just a fucking coon. Nobody calls Jay-Z a coon. Nobody calls Drake or Lil Wayne a coon. Nobody calls any of these people a coon. Just a fucking coon, Terry Crews. And then they're trying.
Trying hard to get black people back on the side, yeah.
I saw this on Daily Mail, and Daily Mail tried to do you know how when you write like fuck on a website, you got to put the stars. Daily Mail put the stars for coon. I was like, why? Just call this nigga a fucking coon.
But I think they gotta be careful because calling black people coons when you not black is crazy these days.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Like you said earlier. Yeah, they're gonna pull that car real quick.
Mm-hmm. Get them niggas the fuck out of here.
Terry Crews
They
is
gonna
nuts.
pull up, burn that shit down.
I don't even think we gotta talk about
what's
that.
even more wild, bro, is on the list of successful black people, he way at the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know no niggas that's been called a
A-list
coon
celebrity.
above
Cut
him.
that out.
He's like a C-list.
He a
Maybe.
coon
Like,
for even saying that shit.
Yeah, like
He on the list of he's like D-list because you know how they got all the niggas that do the Expendables. He's
That's
underneath the niggas that do the Expendables. Come on, bro.
He's like a host for TV shows. Yeah,
it's crazy, bro, when niggas still refer to you as the nigga from White Chicks. And that was how many years ago?
Yo, literally.
Our niggas refer to him as the nigga who can do his pecs. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Shut your old coon ass up, Terry Crews.
And what's even more wild is he had one of the craziest black roles. Like, niggas respected his shit on Everybody Hates Chris.
Facts.
He was like a black dad.
That's
and
a
you
fact.
still blew that, my nigga. Like, you a coon ass nigga if you blow that.
They made the image for you. Chris Rock literally wrote the image for you, and you still fucked it up.
Yeah, he fucked that shit up. Oh, let me ask y'all how y'all feel about this. Gillie the Kid said, let me just say this, right? I done spoke on that shit so many times. If you Google it, Stunner say it out his mouth. He wrote some things for the company, but he didn't get paid what he got paid. So that was gratifying enough. At the end of the day, salute to Lil Wayne, salute to Baby, because I didn't see Baby in Miami at King of Diamonds, and you know what it is. Gillie the Kid talking about how he ghost wrote for Lil Wayne. Doom! As a Louisianian, how do you feel about that?
If Gillie don't get the fuck out of here, bro, you telling me that Gillie the Kid wrote anything that Lil Wayne ever spit?
Let me just say this, right? I done spoke on it. Google it, nigga. Brooklyn, how you feel as a New York nigga? You
Nigga
buying Gillie the Kid?
I don't believe him. I gotta see the credits. I don't know. Niggas said Google it. I don't know, bro.
I pray this isn't true.
I don't think it's true though, because I mean, especially for the kind of rap that he did, like it wasn't like any of the like, you know, I'm trying to be intellectual. It was most of the time it was Wayne in the studio having fun. You telling me that you came up with his I'm having fun bars? I don't believe that. I don't believe that, nigga. I don't.
It's impossible, bro. If Gillie was writing for Wayne, Gillie music,
well,
even close to it, like, bro.
I can't argue. I can't agree with that correlation because Quentin Miller, his music ain't blow up.
True.
No, but if you go listen to Quentin Miller, if you listen to Quentin Miller music,
you can hear the.
You could definitely see.
Sure.
I can hear the.
If you're reading this too late,
right.
Yeah. For sure. I agree with.
And I'll say this: if Gillie has any writing credits, because this blew my mind. I never knew. Let's say you in a studio session, and you just so happen to be in a studio with Wayne, and he in there recording, and you say some shit like, "Yo, I think you should."
Oh yeah, you get a credit for that
right here,
for sure.
Like nigga, say woo right here.
Yep,
that you got a writing credit, my nigga. Like,
that's so you don't get sued. No, 1,000%.
Yeah, in that capacity, maybe so.
Now that's what I was
to say. Now he talking mad shit like he wrote a whole song. Like, nigga, stop.
Yeah,
to say he wrote "Wasted" on No
Gillie
Ceiling.
A clown for me though, bro.
Oh, Gillie been a clown. Gillie a clown for bringing 6ix9ine on bar stools just to tell him no, I'm not doing an interview. Why was the nigga even there? Like, why was he even on the phone? Like what are you doing, bro? He was like, nah, I'm street.
He played that nigga voicemail on his pod.
Oh, it was a I thought it was a phone call. I thought it was a phone call. It was a voicemail, then that makes more sense.
Yeah, it was like a recording. Like 6ix9ine was basically telling him like, yo,
we need to link.
It's gonna be the biggest shit you ever had, like all this other shit. And I think it was extra corny because like the reason they was blackballing him is like, yo, we don't want to give this nigga he don't deserve no type of looks.
And then you gave him a look.
Right. You gave like that's the same as interviewing him, my nigga. Like,
exactly.
You gave him the fucking.
And the way he did it, he played it, and then he was like, I'm turning this shit off street. Nigga, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing?
He a clown, bro. Because basically what he did was he was like, 6ix9ine wanted the interview to help with his rollout.
Yeah.
You were supposed to say no to the interview to not help the rollout.
and not
what you
talk
did
about it on your show either.
Right. What you did was you helped the rollout by playing the voicemail, because now niggas is talking about 6ix9ine.
And you know you're on Barstools, which is a majority white platform,
Right.
and you know this is white people listening to this to understand black culture. And by you playing the 6ix9ine thing, it's like, oh, this album's out now. White people go check for it.
Right.
But
they not want to know if it is bad. They're like, well, let me go check if
see.
it's bad. But you still gave him plays.
But that
How
nigga is
sales doing?
It's not doing well. He flopping. He is flopping. Academics had to put out a post that was like, oh, don't think this is a flop. He's just getting blackballed by radio and by all these black places. Nah, nigga. That clown shit has run its course. I'm so excited. Jerry 6ix9ine, sit your fucking ass down, nigga. Your ass is through. I'm so happy you're outside passing CDs. Like, you trying to record that and say, oh, y'all go buy me. Nobody's buying my album as a joke. But like, nah, on the inside, you are shitting because you're not doing the numbers that you were supposed to do. You're not doing Uzi numbers no more. You're doing Lil Durk numbers, and that shit hurts his fucking soul.
Right. And this is why it's important, not to bring it back to that conversation, but this is why it's important that black people own their platforms. Because 3 years ago, 6ix9ine, even though, you know, you sitting at a platform where you might not like 6ix9ine, you might not want to do the interview. If such and such company say, we got 6ix9ine coming, it's going to be the biggest thing ever, guess what you're doing? You're doing a fucking interview.
What is that?
Now, since we have some type of control, which we're not all the way there yet, but we got some type of control over the platforms, what's hot, what's for the culture. That wouldn't have been able to happen 5 years ago.
See, I
6ix9ine
think
would have still had a successful run.
I think that's part of it, but I'm gonna attribute it more so to these rappers. Like, if y'all bring him on, I'm not doing an interview. And it's like, I think it's more so rappers leveraging, like, if y'all fuck with this, I'm not fucking with you. And radio stations can't take the choice of 6ix9ine or 5, like, YG, OT Genesis, like, just 6 gang niggas being like, nah, we not fucking with you no more. Like, I agree with you, dude, but I think it's more so that, because, like, it's crazy. Radio saying, nah, fuck that nigga.
That nigga did a YouTube rollout.
Yep. Brooklyn, y'all lost y'all king.
Twitch.
What's up? The king of New York is done, bro.
Not that. That was a self-given nickname. Right? That man wasn't nobody's king, right? But at the same time, everybody in New York knew that it was only a matter of time and shit. That shit was going to happen. Because they was the first ones to stop fucking with him. The radio was like, nah, we done. And then the rest of them followed suit and was like, oh, New York not playing this nigga? LA not playing it. Because YG wasn't going to fuck with them niggas if they played them.
And Offset and Migos said they wasn't going to none of them Atlanta stations. So it was a combination of just like what Doom said, but more so just rappers being like, nah, we know what type of power we got. LA rappers was like, nah. New York rappers was like, nah. Atlanta rappers was like, nah. And then that did it. That was over with. That nigga blackball. Good for that, though. Get his ass out of here.
For an interview, and then the rest of them is like, well, if
begging
you want to
Gillie
again, it's not happening.
Like, this nigga begged Gillie and went on Jake Paul or Logan Paul podcast and still not doing numbers. That just shows you. On
the side of my suggested things on YouTube, I'm like, I had to squint. I'm like, nah, this is fake. And I almost clicked it and I was like, nah, I'm not giving him the time of day.
I'm not giving 6ix9ine nor Logan Paul no fucking play. Oh, Jesus, that was hilarious. Let me shout out to Amine, because I didn't talk about this in one of our listeners, part of the community. I'm sorry I'm forgetting your name, but shout out to you. Let's see if I can pull it up. I think I can, because I don't think it's too far down in the comments, but they wanted us to shout out the Amine album because they said it was one of the best albums of the year, and I agreed with them. Let's see. I think this is it. I'm pretty sure. Okay, wait. No, God damn it. It's pretty far down there. But I think it was okay. No, I can't find it. I'm sorry. But shout out to you, man. I really appreciate you for sending that comment. That Amine album's really, really dope. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Limbo. Super fire album. Also, yeah, check that shit. That shit is hard. Also, shout out to Conway. Griselda's killing it. The From a King to a God album. Phenomenal. Conway killed it. Griselda, the best label in hip hop right now. It's not TD, it's not Dreamville. It's 1000% Griselda, Benny, Conway, and West Side Gun, Boldy James, everything they're doing. Doom, did you check out that Conway album?
I did.
What you thought of it? Yeah.
I didn't really get a chance to sit with it too long. Like, I kind of just, flipped through a few of the songs, but the sound is there, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't wanna take shots at a couple people we know, but it's a lot of projects out there better than that one nigga they always.
A
lot of projects.
Bro, I can't believe we was arguing on Twitter this past week about how
projects out there, bro.
How Eternal Atake is the best album of the year, and certain people, and I know they're gonna listen to it because every time we tell you, they know who they are. They say that one of them used the numbers argument, and I'm like, if we're gonna use the numbers argument, then does that mean Taylor Swift has the best album of the year? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Everybody says that you can't use the numbers argument when we talking about shit like that.
Trying to say because he sold so much that means he has the best album. What the fuck?
And if that's the criteria, then bro, 6ix9ine had the best music for a long time, bro.
Right.
Also,
he's turning the numbers up.
I didn't want to bring this up just because he sold less, but for Drake to do a Dark Takes demo that's just his throwaways and sell 2,000 less than your album, to me that's better than what you doing, nigga. Like, what are we talking about? Like, but
it's impossible, bro. There are so many projects.
Look, I'm gonna just give you 5.
That Nas album too, by the way.
Oh, with Hit Boy?
I listened to it like a couple times, and it was like on first listen, it was this is good, not great. And then the more I sit with it, I'm like, bro, this is a fucking.
But I attribute that to Hit Boy, man. Brooklyn sitting over there like, oh, I'm upset. I don't fuck with Nas. Nas is trash.
I didn't fuck with the album. I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I got it. No.
I fuck with it, bro.
Detroit 2, though. I don't know if Detroit 2's hot.
That's what I was waiting for. Because I missed the part where I talked about that.
And I know I came on the pod and said I liked it, but like now that I'm having more, I don't think I like that project.
I'm still trying to sit with it. I've been playing it in my car on the way to work, on the way home from work, on my break.
I've been forcing it, and it's like it's just not.
I've been forcing it, bro. All right.
My thing is, it sounds too produced.
It don't sound like Detroit. Like I don't know what he's doing.
It sounds super like he was aiming to be number one selling, like just go in there and do you, my nigga, because
I don't know what it is.
And
I don't know what it is.
It seemed like he was forcing it like Tom Brady was on Sunday. I don't like it.
Yeah, I still think Dark Sky Paradise is his best album, and Detroit is still overall his best project, but I don't know. Detroit 2 wasn't the thing. But to answer your thing, Doom, Alfredo, Limbo, Alfredo, Limbo, I'm going to say the Black Soprano Family. I'm going to say It Comes With a Price by Adam Dollars. And this is just right off the top of my shit. Dark Takes demo, Might Not Be Alive by Jose Xavier. The Price of Tea in China, Boldy James are all better albums than Eternal Take. All of them. All of them.
And then, that's a fact.
And then if you want to go with more mumble rap style, Heaven or Hell by Don Toliver is better than Eternal
Facts. I've been saying that.
That Heaven or Hell shit has aged beautifully.
Them niggas still to this day will tell me that Don Toliver is not even close to
them
the
niggas
level.
tripping.
I'm like, bro.
And they know we love them. We love you niggas, but y'all out y'all mind.
I love them. That's my niggas. That's my niggas till the end. But they be wilding with that Uzi shit, bro.
Out they fucking mind. The final topic we got before we get up out of here. The final thing we got before we got up out of here, I gotta ask y'all. Why? And I gotta be careful how I say this, because I don't know if people in my house I don't know if people in my house is up. But let me say this. Why is it important that women have males hang out with their friends? Why is it like you try to force your man to hang out with your friends? Because I don't think men try to force their girlfriends to hang out with their friends. And look, if any of my girlfriend's friends listening to this, if I hung out with y'all last night, I'm not talking about y'all. Because I actually had a great time with y'all. We played, it was fire. That last night was fire. Brooklyn, don't leave out the camera. I got to preface that. Because, like, that shit was lit last night. I had a damn good time. We played Cards Against Humanity. I had me a damn good time. I was making niggas laugh. It was a fun time. So I got to preface that if you listening to this, because I told them about my podcast, if you listen to this, I'm not talking about you. This is just a generality.
It's crazy.
Why they try to force that, bro? Like, I don't see males trying to force their girlfriends to hang out with their friends. Like,
because their friends is boring. I'm put it straight out like that. If I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be real. And I had to get up to check to make sure she wasn't here. Their friends be boring, my nigga. Like, They like a mayo sandwich, my nigga. Ain't no meat, ain't no cheese, ain't no lettuce. These bitches is bland. All right, they bland. They only know how to talk about some motherfucking whatever bum ass reality TV show they watching. After that, the conversation's at surface. We have all these. I gotta have small talk with y'all for 2 hours. 2 hours of small talk.
That is a fact. My nigga's spitting right now, bro.
You know how exhausting that is? 2 hours of small talk, my nigga. No, I don't want to talk about the weather.
My nigga is spitting, bro.
Yeah, he is.
And then they always hit you with, especially when it's like your girl's friends that you just know them as your girl's friends. Like you don't really chill with them like that. So they always hit you with, why are you so quiet? Your boyfriend's so quiet. I'm chilling.
Doom! Oh, you
nigga
two
trying
niggas
to sneak and watch the game on his phone.
Yo, y'all spitting right. Yo, y'all spitting right now. Yo, the shit where it's like, oh, yo, why? And then when your girl asks you, why you being so quiet? Like you don't act like this at home with us. It's because I don't know it like that. What the fuck?
Facts, bro.
You niggas
and I'm because I thought you was going another angle with this.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say this. Have you ever been in a compromised situation where one of those friends were attractive, and how did you navigate that?
I just don't look at him.
Yeah, facts. Nah, that's a fact, bro. Like if you ever pull up to a stop sign, you ever pull up to a red light and there's a dude on a motorcycle and you can tell he revving his engine and you just don't look at him?
Yeah, you just don't look.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I do. I just don't look, nigga.
And I interact with everybody else. I just don't interact with them. I just like, if they tell me something, I'm like, yeah, I give them the shortest answer and then I'm done.
Bro, that's a tough situation to navigate, bro.
Because I don't want my girl to think like, oh, why you checking out my friend? Fuck no, bitch. I'm not even looking at her. I don't know she exists.
Especially if the girlfriend knows, like, come on. She fired. Don't lie to me. And you're like,
yeah,
I'm not falling for that, nigga.
Yeah.
You look like that's a booby trap.
You know she looks better than me. What? Not my queen.
I ain't not falling for that shit.
That bitch is ugly.
This nigga is crazy, bro.
I just had to get
I wanna add on to this conversation, but it might not be the best time.
Let's wait till next week because I don't want. Like I said last night, I had an amazing night. I'm not talking about y'all.
Yeah. This actually is a good convo. I think we should have next week.
Yeah, let's do this next week. We can bring this back.
That's a good convo. Remember that one.
You write it down. Write it down right now.
I got you. I'm putting this in my phone.
But Brooklyn, tell the people they can find you out on social media.
You can find me at all social medias at where Brooklyn at. That's Brooklyn with a Q, not a K. That's for marketing purposes.
Because we are not trying to get sued by the city of Brooklyn. Doom, tell the people they can find you on social media.
At Lil Doom SJE on Instagram and Twitter. I do want to take a second to shout out my New Orleans Saints. They kept me from wearing long sleeves in this hot ass weather. Because I will say, bro, I got a fleur-de-lis tatted on my arm. So when them niggas embarrass me, I can't wear short sleeves. I gotta wear, and it's hot as fuck in Vegas, my nigga. Like everybody can see this shit, my nigga. So shout out to them because it's hot as fuck. It's hot as fuck. Shout out to the Saints.
We wildin' this one.
I'm repping this morning, my nigga. We here.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow my two niggas, man. I'm glad we back full strength. With that being said, let's get into the world premiere song of the week by Ben Reyn. We also have an interview with Ben that's coming up, and then as well as Bros Who Ball, I got a special interview with Dru Productions. Dru is a former media member of the Pelicans who moved to Japan, and we get his take on how he was living in Japan, as well as we get his take on who should be the Pelicans coach, and we dive real into that. But we got a lot of good stuff after this, but y'all stay tuned. Right now, let's get into the song of the week by Ben Reyn.
Ben Reyn's in this bitch. Decent. Ben Reyn. I smoke gas, don't do mud, shawty bad, girl what's up, shake that ass, wanna fuck, break that bag, fuck it up, I smoke gas now, I sip crown now, I roll another wood now, roll another wood now, yeah. I'ma go roll me a wood. I'ma go give it a pipe. Lately I'm misunderstood. I cannot sleep through the night. Whoa, fuck you, don't tell me I should. I'ma go grab me a light. They're trying to tell me I should move, but I cannot move off the Sprite now. Sleepy, I'm high like a kite now. Bitch, you can bring you a dyke now. Snorting on cocoa, you white now. Coca-Cola with some slight crown. Yeah, lingerie, fucking nightgown. Looking on shorty from top down. Put that little hoe up on blast now. Oh. Putting that hoe up on blast now. Putting that hoe up on blast now. Sipping on dirty, I'm sipping on crown now. Yeah. Well, tell me what I should do. I'ma go fuck on your boo. I'ma go fuck on a crew. I smoke gas. Don't do mud. Shawty bad. Girl, what's up? Shake that ass. Wanna fuck. Break that bag. Fuck it up. I smoke gas. Don't do mud. Shawty bad. Girl, what's up? Shake that ass. Wanna fuck. Break that bag. Fuck it up. Fucking from the back now. This dick got you moaning. Don't know how to act now, yeah. All these fucking scratches on my back, huh? Ay, you deserve it, think you need a plaque, wow. Ay, I'm just chillin', please don't think I'm serious. Know you fucking with me, my mystique mysterious, yeah. Got a couple bitches, hope that they bi curious. Rollin' Durban poison, think that I'm delirious, yeah. I smoke gas, don't do mud. Shawty bad, girl, what's up? Shake that ass, wanna fuck. Break that bag, fuck it up. I smoke gas, don't do mud. Shawty bad, girl, what's up? Shake that ass, wanna fuck. Break that bag, fuck it up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this week's special guest is none other than hip-hop artist Ben Reyn. He's from Lafayette, Louisiana. How you doing, Ben?
It's going good, man. Just hanging out. Happy to be a part of the podcast. You know, I've been seeing you on my news feed and stuff, so happy to be here.
Glad to have you, brother. Glad to have you. So first off, I want to start by just letting the fans know out there just a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got into music and making rap music.
Okay. I got into first making music like back in middle school, and like middle school band. That was like my first like introduction to like how music even works at all. But I didn't really touch it again until the summer of 2017 when my boy AJ, aka Samurai Black, he just got FL Studio and like threw me his download link, and I just started like putting shit together and, you know, figuring out how all the different parts work.
100%. So what was that really just like the tipping off point to get you back in, just by you and your friend just meeting up together and talking about like having FL Studio downloaded and whatnot? And that was just like, was that the tipping point to making you do this thing legitimately?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'd always had a big admiration for hip hop music, and you know, it always seemed like really crazy to me how it was all put together, and really had no idea how it was put together. So I was just had like a pretty like deep fascination with, you know, recording, engineering, production, and, you know, on everything could basically be done on this one program. So like as soon as, you know, you showed me how that kind of worked, I was just like ready to dive in right into it.
100%. Who would you say some of your influences are that influence you musically?
Probably pretty early on, it was like Kid Cudi. Right around that time, like before I started getting into it, we were like, our whole friend group was like pretty big into Travis Scott, and I really started fucking with the way that like Mike Dean and Alex Toomey and his whole team was kind of like putting tracks together and being like real experimental with like the production side of things. So, you know, probably like the whole team over there, you know, with Kanye, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott, you know, I was just really fucking with how they were doing things and kind of paving the way for how music has kind of shifted to where it is now.
And I think you do achieve that your music, one song doesn't necessarily sound like the other. You go for many different vibes, and you can see that on your album Ego Death. With like from looking at a song like looking at a song like Crown with D Suggs, then comparing it to the one that's right after with What Up Little Bitch. It's like one is super super hype. We're getting like almost, and I say this because it's like we've seen rappers do this with like DMX, 6ix9ine, like the screamo rap, but then we get like the smooth melodic auto tune. Do you attribute that to your inspirations of like Mike Dean and Travis Scott?
Yeah, for sure. And also probably like, you know, some of the guys who came after them with like XXX Ski Mask and, you know, everything that Members Only was kind of doing. Like, you know, initially they were doing like hardcore, like rage shit. But as they kind of started to get some notoriety, they started to really express themselves from like an artistic standpoint and just kind of did whatever they were feeling like doing in the moment. And, that's why I feel like none of my songs really sound the same. It's just because like I'm kind of like a bipolar individual. Like I never feel the same on like two different occasions, you know?
100%. Do you make all your own beats?
No, I don't make all my own beats. I do a lot of digging on the internet and just, you know, occasionally find something on BeatStars or Track Train or linking up with, you know, other local producers out of Lafayette. Like I've worked with Nick White. We have a song out called Hard in This Bitch that does really well live in our like live performances. I worked some with Nick Grand, but I don't think we've dropped anything together yet. But I also have made some of my beats. So like the song Choppa that I have with Krissa, I produced the beat for that and arranged all the drum patterns and mixed and mastered it and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Which one do you prefer more, producing or rapping?
I'd say I probably like it equally. They're like, I like that I can kind of like go back and forth between both because I'm not really like always particularly feeling like recording and I'm not always feeling like producing. So like, you know.
It gives you the best of both worlds.
Yeah, depending on how I'm feeling that day, I can just go in and make some random drum patterns or go in and start recording and doing melodies on the microphone. You know, I'd say it kind of goes hand in hand.
100%. Why the name Ego Death for your project? You dropped it in 2020. I didn't get a month on it, but like your latest project, why the name Ego Death?
Okay. Yeah. So basically I just, I feel like throughout each stage of my like music making process, I've like personally been a different person, and throughout all of it, I just realized that like I'm forever changing. So like the ego that I have now is not the ego that I'm gonna have, you know, a few weeks from now or even tomorrow or whatever. So it's just like, you know, a lot of my past selves are basically like dead in a way. So like that's why I have like in the cover. It's like me walking down the road and right behind me is like kind of like my previous ego of me, basically.
That's interesting, man. So you look at it as like, as you grow yourself, you transform and yourself ends up dying. That ego that you once had has died. See, I thought you were coming with like, I got to kill the ego in like, it's a different take than the typical I gotta kill the ego to like thusly move forward. I think that's very interesting that it's like, no, you accept that you do have an ego, but that ego can change as you grow, whether good or bad.
Yeah, sometimes it's I'll be really cocky one day, and sometimes, you know, not so much. So, you know, I just gotta try to recognize that for what it is.
100%. How important are lyrics to you when you're making hip hop music?
I think it depends on the idea that I have in mind for that particular song. So if I'm doing like a turn up song, I don't think lyrics are really that important. I think it's kind of like the energy that you're putting into the microphone and, you know, through the speakers. I think that's what's important. But if I'm trying to do some more introspective type of project, I think lyrics are pretty important and you know, trying to convey what you mean with your words, not just with your sound.
How are you looking forward? Because I'd say this project had, Ego Death in particular, had like one or two introspective songs and a lot of just vibes and feelings that were carried through. Are you looking forward to, and is it coming, the introspective of who Ben Reyn is?
I think some of the songs that I've yet to release that I've kind of been working on and I'm starting to plan on releasing pretty soon. It's going to be like a little bit more of introspective stuff. And I've kind of been talking with my team, some people on my team as well. And, I showed them some of the music that's a little more personal. And they basically are telling me that I should put it out there and kind of show that side of me as well. Because I haven't really done a whole lot of it up to this point, but I think what I have right now will kind of basically display my story a little bit better.
Okay. Is it hard releasing those songs because it's so personal to you?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little more difficult. Some of it is pretty personal, but I think it'll also be kind of liberating in a way because, these are all things that might help people understand me a little bit better if I were to put it out there. Because I don't really know how to always express myself in those deeper terms, I guess, just in a conversation from a conversational standpoint. So
use the music.
Might be best to just use the music to transmit it. Yeah.
Hell yeah, 100%. So, and I gotta ask you about a couple of these songs. Yo, Crown with D-Suggs. That song is hard, man. That's probably the song that I'm gonna play before our interview. It's the world premiere. I really, really dig that song. What made you want to link up with D-Suggs and just talk a little bit about y'all's relationship?
Okay. Yeah, I met him through. I went to LSU for college. And I just finished up not that long ago. And he's a student at LSU as well. And it was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. But basically, I matched with the girl on Tinder. And she was pretty bad. So I went to go follow her Instagram story, or her Instagram. And on her Instagram story, she had posted one of D-Suggs' first songs that he released. It was a SoundCloud link. So I went to go listen to it, and it sounded very XXX influenced, and it was one of his a sad XXX type beat that he recorded over. And I just thought it was hard. I just thought it was nice. So I just basically followed him, slid in his DMs type shit, and was just yo, I got a microphone, I got a recording situation, Pro Tools, and all that stuff, and just wanted to link up, and he came through and. We made some cool turn up songs initially, and then we started to get a little bit more experimental as time went on.
100%. That's crazy, man. Through Tinder, we got one of the harder songs on the project. That Tinder did it, man. That's hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. So then you link up with.
It's weird how.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, it's weird how in a weird roundabout way the internet can lead to these types of relationships. And, in a weird way, the internet has kind of led to many of the musical relationships that I have now. But that was the only one that came through Tinder, I will say.
Man, it's crazy because the internet is always gets this bad stigma of, yes, we know there's the false propaganda spread through social media. There's the bullying aspect. There's all these negative things about the internet. But when you use the internet the way it's supposed to or the right way, you see so many relationships formed that couldn't because the whole world's connected and you get like-minded people who make music together or create all kind of different things. I think the internet is super, super positive for creatives to gather together, have a discussion about your music or about whatever you make, and then link and meet new minds. I can't tell you how many people I've met through the internet.
Yeah, that's facts. I mean, you'll make so many good relationships off the internet, and a lot of people sleep on that facet of the internet. So I'll try to tell people all the time that I work with, I understand that there's the negative side to it, so it can be a little bit taxing mentally. Yeah. But I try to tell the people that I work with to just push through it and try to put yourself out there, because you never know when you'll link with someone and something good can come out of it.
That's true, because the worst that they can tell you is no, and what's a no at the end of the day? You just keep it pushing. But the next question I want to ask you about is, talk to me about Get That, the song number 6 on the project that you link with Max the Demon. I think that song's super, super hard.
Okay. Yeah, I first found Max the Demon, through the internet once again. I saw him have like someone posted like a snippet of one of his music videos on Twitter, and they were like, whenever Cole Bennett starts rapping, because he kind of like low key looks like Cole Bennett, so they're just making like a joke out of it. Yeah. But I listened to it and it was mad hard. So like I just went to go find his Instagram, and it was weird. On that particular day on his Instagram story, he said he was throwing out deals for features. So I was just like, well, like shit, like I wanted to get like someone with some like notoriety on the project anyway. So I just slid up and, you know, gave him my offer, and he basically sent me the whole goddamn song. Like normally I feel like you would send a beat and then they would just like record a quick verse or something. But like he sent me like a whole like song, like chorus laid out. He had 2 verses laid out, and he was just ready. Like, just keep your it was just like keep your favorite verse and take it off and just like put your own verse on there. And I was just like, this is literally like, I don't think this will ever happen again. Like trying to cop a feature from someone. Like,
no, that sounds rare. I've never heard of shit like that. That's crazy. He said, look, I'm gonna give you 3 verses and a chorus. You choose whichever thing you want out of it. That's nuts.
It'll never be that easy again. I legit like already like bought like a drill beat because I knew he was on some drill shit. So I just found a cool drill beat to work with, and he was just like, nah, bro, like I already got it. And I was just like, okay, like cool. Like
bet. Then all right, we'll see what's up. Talk to me about is it a group? Is it a label? What's the appearing where it's like y'all are linking people from the 337 to the 225?
Okay. Yeah, it's called Empyrean.
My bad.
It's all good. And that basically started with me and my friend AJ, who like got me into music. And from there, we had linked with Jay Benny. I went to high school with Jay Benny. We were like same graduating class, but we didn't really link up until we started like making music and like started just hanging out and shit. So we got together and just started making music, and then D Suggs came along. And then now we got our friend Ro, and most recently we had this guy, Khalil, who's friends with D Suggs, and they've also linked together from like just like being on the internet type shit. So it kind of just all came through initially from like friends from Lafayette, but then it just started to like branch out into this other thing. And I guess you could call it like a record label. Like I've started to take it a little more seriously and started to like give it some structure and be like, you know, kind of like establish some milestones and some goals that we're trying to reach along the way. And like, you know, just to kind of keep us all like accountable for each other and making sure that we're staying on top of our shit.
How hard is that in a group setting? Being that like, I know exactly what that is. Just talk to the people who are in groups and like just any advice you would have, because it's easy to get the people together. It's harder to keep it going consistently.
Yeah, I think probably the best way to keep it going consistently is to just put down your goals for the group, and like the goals that you have for like each individual, like literally just write it down on paper. And, you know, from there you can basically kind of see if you're going in the right direction or not. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy because, you know, everyone's got their own life, and, you know, we're still like not at a point where we can all make music full time, but it's just, you know, staying on top of each other and constantly like sending songs back and forth. And luckily, because we have people who are willing to record with us, and like here in Baton Rouge and in Lafayette, like we don't always have to be in the same spot to make something happen. So, you know, through Gmail and just, you know, Pro Tools sessions, we can just send this shit around and still
make it work,
get the content out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately with COVID, we haven't been able to do any shows, but always linking up together for shows was like a good like driving force to keep us going. Cause like,
how has that been with like not being able to perform? And I've seen that like from how I hear you describe it and for some of your favorite artists, I can tell that that's something that you really enjoy. Just from me not even seeing you perform or just hearing you say anything about it, just from like knowing the artists that you look up to and just hearing how, like you said multiple times, you had songs that were better live action or just better in performing. I can tell that means a lot to you. So how has it been not being able to perform due to COVID?
It's been pretty sad, man. I'm not going to lie. It's like, I didn't know that it was gonna like captivate me as much as it has until I had like my first couple performances and like saw people like wilding out, like just the shit that, you know, came through like us kind of fucking around in a studio. So it's been like sad not being able to do it. I guess you could say I have like some withdrawals in a way, you know. It's kind of like a drug basically. It's like a spike of dopamine like really quick. So like I really do miss it. We were supposed to have a show at the office in Lafayette. Yeah, the office in Lafayette. Whenever they started to like roll out the phases again, but then like almost as soon as they started to roll it out, they shut it back down like a couple months ago. Oof. So you know, now we're just kind of waiting around and seeing what the government kind of, you know, lets people do. I'm sure we could probably make something happen like in an outdoor setting, but I don't know.
Yeah. Have you ever considered doing the internet show? Like the IG, the YouTube live Twitch thing?
I haven't really thought about it. I kind of would like to talk to someone who has like done it, because like I wouldn't even really know the best way to go about setting it up. So I would like to like talk to some other people who have tried it and like get their perspective on it. But I'm not necessarily against it. Like, I think it could be fun, you know, just to get like some of the people in Empyrean together, just to like do something to put out there. If I were to do it, I would want to make sure that it's like sounding real right, you know.
Yeah, because that's been an issue.
Because, you know, some people are just doing it through their iPhone microphones and shit. Just throwing up their IG live and just like having the audio go through there. I would want it to like link it up somehow so that it's like mixed real nice, you know, it gives the people like a good like audio experience.
Yeah, good little show. Tell the people where they can find Ego Death on streaming and whatnot.
You can find Ego Death on my Spotify page or Apple page or Tidal or wherever you listen to your music or stream your music. It's Ben Reyn on Spotify. That's BenReyn, and you can find all my music on there, basically.
100%. Let's get to the rapid fire question portion of it. So, being that you're from Louisiana, I ask this to every Louisianian: crawfish or gumbo? And I'm talking boiled crawfish.
Crawfish.
Okay, gumbo or boudin?
Boudin.
Ooh, so boudin or crawfish?
This is tough. If it's Billy's boudin, we're gonna have to go boudin.
It's your favorite one, so we're going Billy's. All right, I see it. I see the vibes. Yo, Billy's stuffed boudin balls are immaculate. Must say so myself.
It makes you want to tear up, man. That shit's so good.
Yeah, it is. It's freaking amazing. Okay, so the next question I have: if you could go anywhere on vacation with no COVID ramification or anything like that, where would you go?
I'd probably go to New Zealand and like try to go like check out the landscapes where Lord of the Rings was shot at, because they got some pretty epic landscapes out there.
Yes, they do. So, okay. So does that mean Lord of the Rings is your favorite movie? Because that's the next thing I was going to ask. Favorite movie and TV show?
I don't know if I would say it's my favorite movie. I'd probably say I'll just go with my favorite TV show. I'd probably say Breaking Bad.
Ooh, okay.
It's like a tie between Breaking Bad and Lost.
Ooh, okay. I got to ask you, have you watched The Sopranos or The Wire?
I have not seen The Sopranos, but I listened to a podcast. Like one of my favorite podcasts is Tim Dillon's podcast, and he talks about The Sopranos. He's like a Long Island native, and he said he grew up around some people who had that type of like Sopranos mob
lifestyle
and relationships.
Hell yeah. Well, man, look, if I got any suggestions, if you love Breaking Bad, check out The Wire or The Sopranos. Both are great A show, but Heisenberg's the man. Did you watch the new El Camino movie, the Jesse movie?
Yeah, I watched that, and I've also been keeping up with the Better Call Saul spinoff.
Is this a hot take? I low-key like Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad. Just like a tiny smidgen.
I like the like change of gears. Like, I don't know. It's like the same like cinematography, you know, some of the same characters, but it's got like a different like
vibe to it.
Different vibe, different direction that they're going on. I don't know if I would say I like it better than Breaking Bad, though, but I'd heavily fuck with the show, and I like seeing the evolution of Jimmy or Saul or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah. Did you like El Camino? Because I saw a lot of people have mixed reviews on it. Did it let you down?
I didn't dislike it, but
okay.
I kind of expected
more
something a little different. Yeah, maybe a little more, but I think it was in a way it was kind of a good ending, for him. So, but I don't know.
Hell yeah. So we got Breaking Bad. We got the Breaking Bad universe. So, all right, next question we got for you. Are you into any comic books, any animes, anything like that?
I never really got into that realm of culture, but if you were to recommend an anime or a comic that would get me into it, what would you recommend?
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. I'd recommend you, because you've never gotten into it, and because you say you like Breaking Bad, I'm not gonna give you some crazy off the wall shit just off rip. I'd give you a comic by the name of 100 Bullets that I guarantee is gonna be made into a movie or TV show within the next 5 to 8 years. I'm betting the house on it. Also, I'd recommend Cowboy Bebop if you're trying to get an anime. Those two things are pretty decent entry level things to where if you like Breaking Bad, those things would be very, very interesting to you. I will say that.
You said 100 Bullets, and what was the second one?
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop. All right, I'm writing those down so I can go check them out.
Hell yeah, I definitely think you'll enjoy those. And the final question we ask everybody, if you're the writer, director, producer to the Ben Reyn movie, how would you want it to end?
That's a great question. Probably me being a producer for the next Great Talents album, in the studio, working on the next good thing, but not necessarily me being in the booth, kind of helping direct the next person, the next youngster, when I'm an old person.
Hell yeah. I like that. I like that answer. Getting your Mike Dean on, maybe doing some record label shit. I fuck with that. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming on the show. Tell the people they can find you out on social media.
All right. You can find me on Instagram at Reyn_Benolds. That's REYN_BENOLDS. And I'm on Twitter at Benjamin1940. Yeah, and you can find my Spotify or Apple Music at Ben Reyn, BENREYN. And that's about it.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Next time you drop a project, we'll do an album deep dive and we'll have another good time with you. I really enjoyed this conversation.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on. And I appreciate what you're doing for, the whole local scene down in South Louisiana, and giving people a platform to not just talk about their music, but, also some of their personal beliefs and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. With that being said, let's get into the rest of the show with Bros Who Ball. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say big thank you to our special guest this week, Ben Reyn. But y'all make sure y'all go follow him and check out his album, Ego Death. But right now, it's time for the show called Bros Who Ball. Yes, it's time for the segment of the Bros Who Think Podcast where we talk sports. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host to the left, Mr. Adam Schubert, and down at the bottom, Mr. Justin Baptiste. Adam, how you doing today, brother? I don't call you Adam. How you doing, Schubert?
I'm doing well, man. We had some crazy NBA this week, and then the NFL was back. Saints Bucks had the highest rating, so where are all the haters at? All the boycotters.
Just lying. And it just shows it was never about military. It's just y'all just don't want black people to speak up. That's all it is. That's all it fucking is. Nothing else I can say. But we're not talking about that. But I'm glad you brought that up because that is very much so true. At the bottom, joining me, Mr. Justin Baptiste. Jay Boogs, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Just a long day. A lot of sports shows, seen a lot of basketball talk, and last night was for the ages.
I'm excited to see what you think. I'm very excited to talk to you, gentlemen. I've been waiting to do
He's got on a shirt from the newly minted Louisiana Raging Cajuns top 25 team.
I saw, and we'll get into all of that. But real quick, before we do, the Pelicans coaching search is heating up. There's a lot of stuff talks about, do we extend Brandon Ingram? Do we extend Lonzo Ball? What should we do? I brought in former media member of the Pelicans, but still very crucial to Pelicans Twitter. The only reason why he's former is because he's in Japan right now. But I bring in special guest Dru Productions to talk to us about the Pelicans and some NBA stuff. Let's get into that right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the meat of Bros Who Ball, I have a very special guest because, look, I know I said I wouldn't be talking Pelicans until next season, but we got a coaching search. We got a player that could be maxed out. We got another player that could get an extension, another player that can get another extension. It's a lot of Pelicans conversation going on in the Pelicans community, and I felt like, look, we gonna join the conversation as well. So joining me is Andrew Smith. You guys may know him as Dru Productions. He is a former media member of the Pels, photographer, all around Pelicans fan and coverer. How you doing, Dru?
I'm good, man. How you feeling, baby?
Doing good. Can't complain. If the people don't know, you are out in Japan right now. How has that been with like Corona and everything? And like, how is Japan itself, the country?
So I'm not in one of the big cities. I'm in a real rural area. I didn't go to Osaka or Tokyo or Kyoto or Hiroshima or none of the major spots. It's a big island called Shikoku. It's right under the main island, but it's rural. Like, I got nothing but super old people around me. Nobody speaks English. We still nonstop farm workers. People got flip phones still out here.
Hell, bro, I'm thinking of like, okay, so do you remember, have you ever seen Samurai Champloo?
Yes.
Do you know the land of like sunflowers when they go at the end where it's like this island and it's just like a bunch of farmland?
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
That's kind of accurate to what it is. Like, there's little city parts spread out, but the majority of where I'm at is just farm, rural houses, like wood houses, and it's just like mainly farms.
Okay. How has the transition been being from America to living in Japan?
So this is my second time coming to Japan. I went to Japan 2 years ago to the same island, only for a couple of months. And then I went back, covered the season, stayed for a while, and I decided to come back. It still was hard, even come here twice. This time was easier. The first time was nuts. But the hardest transition is just the language barrier. The food part is easy because the food here is actually like stupid
delicious.
Good.
Yeah.
It's just like everything you watch is just like that. And, anytime they show food in anime, it's all glittery.
Amazing.
And it looks like that's how everything looks here.
Awesome. Okay, so do you speak Japanese?
Really, really little. I actually stopped practicing for like the last 2 months.
So how do you manage over there, man?
A bunch of bunch of like playing charades.
Okay. So how long are you gonna be in Japan because it's Corona, and I'm sure you can't like come back or anything like that for a while.
If I the thing is, if I come back, I can't come back to Japan for who knows how long.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, you just go back to America. You ain't coming back, but you can go to America. And I'm not gonna lie, America don't look that good right now.
No, look, I can't argue that because it's the truth. Shit is wild out here.
I have, it's not free healthcare, but like assisted healthcare. Well, I'm going to the doctor every month. I'm paying like what's basically in dollars, about $30, getting like,
oh my gosh, 4
bottles of medicine, getting everything I need. So it's about $30 on walk-in appointments.
Yeah, definitely stay there. Do not come back here.
I'm like, I come back, and the city that I'm in, the island in total, I think had about 70 cases through the whole pandemic. The city I'm in didn't have one case.
Dang! So y'all followed the rule. Y'all followed the rules.
Yeah, I'm like, and even with the island, it's been easy to tell where the cases come from. Some would come from Osaka, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's just this family." They'll isolate them, get rid of it. Somebody comes from Italy or America, like, "Oh, it's just them, get rid of them."
Mm-hmm.
And they'll isolate them and they'll treat them. But yeah, even on the island when they did have cases and it was scary, they just wore masks for like they wear masks here regardless.
Regular, yeah.
Years ago, But they just like everybody wear a mask, social distance, kind of stay inside for about a month, 2 months, and then it went down dramatically. And now I'm going back to the beaches, chilling.
You see, man, I've argued that point so many times with so many different people they're like, no, the economy would have. I was like, bro, if we would have just sat down for 2 months straight, we would have just been straight after.
You chill for a while, and then the economy bounces back. Like exactly. you bounce back, and the economy bounces back. America has way more than enough money to relax and settle down for a few months. Now they're getting to a point to where, okay, it was a couple month thing when they only had a couple 100,000 cases and a few deaths. Now, there's like 400,000 deaths or something is going to be projected by the end of the year. And I think you're at 100, almost 200,000 now. Like,
and with football stadiums opening and just all kind of stuff.
I haven't watched a football game in maybe like 3 or 4 years. I kind of threw football to the wayside just because of morals. But when I saw clips, it was like, wait, there's people? That just blew my mind.
People, man, it's like it is ridiculous what's going on in America right now. But let's not even bother with that. I'm here to have you here to talk some basketball. So let's jump into, first off, what's your thoughts on the NBA playoffs right now? What's your thoughts on who's your prohibitive favorite, and who do you like going into the Eastern Conference Finals and then the Western Conference Finals?
So the bubble, I actually really, really love how they did the bubble. I was skeptical at first, but the no fans thing kind of ended up working.
Yeah,
way better. Like that, I get hyped a little bit with the fake crowd noise. I kind of forgot. Like, oh wait, then nobody's really
there.
Really here. Nobody's really here. That fake crowd be getting hyped. And they've been doing some really nice things, of course, with like Black Lives Matter and supporting all that. So regarding the situation, how it's being handled, I think this is the best that we could ask for as far as playoffs. As far as my picks, in the West, I've always had the Clippers. I've been riding with the Clippers since they've gotten Paul George and Kawhi tandem. That defense that they have is just nuts.
It's insane.
They're kind of like playoff built. They're just that grimy, gritty, nasty team. I've always liked them in the West. I always thought it was going to be obviously the two teams in LA in the Western Conference Finals. In the East, I'm shocked that the Bucks got out so soon.
See, I've been on Miami since December. When I saw just what Jimmy did to that team, I was like, yo, they're dark horse. Yeah. And for me, the Bucks all I needed to see was how Giannis would bounce back after last season's playoffs. And I don't want to say it didn't seem like he didn't grow, but like he didn't grow.
The regular season, most dominant dude in the league.
Yeah.
Regular season, you can't stop him in transitions, half court, no matter what. I think Miami, there's a couple of teams that are amazing matchups for Giannis. Even though I don't know, they don't have better players than Giannis because he's most likely going to be the MVP. He's probably the best player in the league.
Yep.
But Miami is built as a Giannis stopper. You can't bulldoze through Miami. It's too much strength, too much length. You have Jimmy Butler, Bam,
Jay Crowder, Iguodala.
But that's my three. That's my third one I was thinking of. Jay, Bam, and Jimmy. That's all Giannis is seeing.
Yep.
You're not getting through that, and they are not getting off of you. So that left a little bit too much pressure on their role players. Also, I think Toronto does a good job at stopping Giannis.
Yeah, they do, but they are out now, and we got a Boston-Miami conference finals. And look, this is how I feel about this. I think Boston has the best three players on the floor. Now, to me, Boston can only go 5 deep. I don't even like saying 6 with Williams and Ojale and Wanamaker. To me, Miami can go damn near 10 deep. It's an amazing 5. So the question is, can their 5 beat Miami's 8 to 9 guys?
It's all to me on Tatum, man. Is Tatum going to look like that star carrying guy? Because I think Kemba's going to be consistent.
Yes.
I don't really have a question about if Kemba's going to give me what I need from him. And same thing, I'm not expecting a lot from Marcus Smart. It's other than defense.
Yep.
And that's like the most consistent thing in basketball.
And Jaylen Brown's been pretty consistent too.
Jaylen Brown's been pretty consistent. That's where my question kind of lies to. I don't know if he's going to. I don't have high expectations for Jaylen Brown. I don't think that I'm expecting Jaylen Brown to be my 20-point per game guy against Miami. If you're throwing Jay, Jimmy's going to have Jason.
Yep.
But you throwing Jay on the probably throwing Jay Crowder on the Jaylen, and I'm gonna have my heart, which is Jaylen Brown. I don't know if you're gonna be able to scoring on Jay, especially the way that you got to get your offense going through against Miami. That series I can't really call. I actually do want to pull for Boston going through in that series, but that's gonna be tough, bro. That's gonna be a tough one.
I think it's going 7.
It's too close to call. I feel like anytime you call whoever in 7, it's like, man, I don't know.
That's what I really don't know, because it's so close, because these there's so many factors. It's like, can Tatum be that guy, like you said, that superstar?
You gotta step up from I'm an all-star level guy to I'm breaking through as a team leader kind of guy.
Yep.
I know Kemba's going to be that perfect support guy, but I think Kemba has kind of peaked, and what his peak is a perfect support guy for a finals level team.
Yep. He is the perfect Robin, and he is totally okay with that role, and he thrives in it, because he can get you between 15 to 20 points, get you that solid 7 to 10 assists, and he's going to control tempo. It's up to Jason to be like, all right.
But can Jason do it on Jimmy?
Yeah.
You're going to be sending multiple guys at you. You're going to be seeing Bam when you drive. You're going to be seeing Jay go help off and dare Jalen to shoot.
And then you might get Iggy at some point.
You're going to get Iggy going through, can you do it against that squad? If you get to the finals, I still think the Clippers will bust that ass.
Same. See, the thing is, Miami is kind of like the, okay, so you know how there's the Pokemon evolutions? Miami's like the Charmeleon, and fucking LA Clippers is like the Charizard, because you got Jimmy, Crowder, and Iggy, but then you elevate to Paul George, Kawhi, and Pat Bev.
Yeah, it's like, all right, y'all got y'all crazy defense right here, and then you just got this all-time defense on the other side.
Yep. My question to you is, do you think LA with LeBron, the Lakers, have a shot at beating the Clippers?
I think any LeBron team has a shot at beating any team in history. You have LeBron, you have what many consider to be the second greatest player of all time. You can go up against damn near any squad, barring, especially having some help. Barring that you have a little bit of help, you have LeBron. You can beat anybody, especially with Paul George being wonky some nights.
Exactly.
If everything's on Kawhi can't solo LeBron and AD.
Yeah. So what does LeBron need to have to happen for him to beat the Clippers in that series?
Well, LeBron's been looking younger and better. He looks better every year. There's nothing that LeBron himself has to do, in my opinion. It's what Anthony Davis has to do, and in my opinion, out of all of the role players, Danny Green has to actually click. Danny Green can't be a zero, because if Danny Green's not making his shots, he's not the defender he used to be. And if he's not hitting his threes, there's no point. And then that's more pressure on Kuzma or Caruso. And they're just overall, Kuzma has some talent, but everyone else is overall less talented guys. Danny Green is kind of, before that drop-off happens in the roster, it's Danny Green.
Yeah.
You have Kuzma, who's okay, but then after that, it's Danny Green, and it drops off to, we got a big
KCP.
KCP. We got a big Rondo to come out and hit I don't know how he hit all those threes in the
I have no idea.
the other night, but we got a big Rondo to come out. Like Danny Green is right before that drop-off point. So you need him to actually be effective, or else you just have too much dead weight.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So it's all about the role players. LeBron himself, obviously, he looks like a monster.
Yeah, LeBron has just been killing it, man. I've been giving him his props. It's going to come down to our former guy, Anthony Davis, to see how well he does and the rest do to get LeBron over that hump.
Hey, Trez, that's a physical dude.
and as you know, being a Pelicans fan, Anthony has some of his worst games against Montrez.
And he don't like that physical stuff. He don't like being touched.
Yep, that is a fact.
Montrez is going to touch you up. He's going to hit you hard a lot. It's going to be a lot of AD falling down, being on the ground for a couple minutes.
And then everybody's going to be gasping and like, holding their breath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so happy we don't have to deal with that.
That thing, it was every night on the floor. Oh, is he hard? Is it like this, that? Oh, my gosh. Nah, Montrez is going to try to have him on the floor for 30 seconds a night.
Him and the Morris twin.
Yeah, the other Morris. They do have the other Morris going out.
The super dirty Morris. The other one's kind of clean. This one is wild. I thought him and Paul Millsaps was going to go to blows the other night. There's
a lot of Pelicans media that when we do our hypotheticals, we're looking like, man, thinking about what would Mark? I get them both confused. I don't know if Markieff or Marcus is on.
Markieff is on the Clippers. Marcus is on the Lakers.
We were thinking about what can we do to get Markieff? Like, what if we can grab Markieff? I'm not a fan of him personally, just because I think he's a bit too much of an ass.
Yeah.
But the Pelicans kind of do need a tough guy, a bad boy, somebody to kind of hold you accountable and like not take any shit.
We do.
I can say shit here, right?
Yo, yeah, you know.
All right, cool.
Say whatever you want, brother. We good. And speaking of that, let's jump to the Pelicans. I'm gonna ask you just a couple Pelicans questions on things that are expected to happen or things that are gonna happen this season and what you expect some of the outcomes to be. First, I gotta start off with the question that everybody wants to know. Who, in your opinion, should come in and replace Alvin Gentry as the Pelicans head coach?
You know, my dream tandem is what's having Ty Lue and Fizdale as an assistant. Those are my top two candidates. I would love. I don't think Ty Lue is happening.
Yeah.
I've never seen an offseason where there are this many options for coaches to pick from, aspiring head coaches or returning head coaches to choose from. Oh, can I go to Sacramento? Can I go to New Orleans? Can I go here? Can I go there? Can I go there? It's usually kind of funneled. And when one domino falls, like the Brooklyn spot, that's probably the most appealing. When that domino falls, usually all of them fall in line. But there's so many other options that domino effect's not going to happen until like 3 or 4 other teams get their coaches.
Yeah.
But my personal favorite is Ty Lue and Fizdale, or Fizdale as a head coach. But I think fans will go nuts, and seeing what Mrs. Vincent said about the winning culture and all that, it seems kind of contradictory for another below 500 record coach. But as you know me on Twitter, the record doesn't tell anything, in my opinion, because it doesn't tell you. People don't look at the roster when they see the records, or what roles guys have when they see the record. But I love Fizdale, especially for development.
Yeah, and I think Fizdale would bring a toughness and a leadership to get these guys going. He won't be friend. He'll get under their ass.
That's the exact flip from Alvin. That okay, if you're moving from Alvin, I think that keeping the system, having it rolling with Finch, taking control of the system, having the defense go with Bizdelic, that's the main thing with Alvin. When I'm telling guys that your main job is to be a manager, he's over here handling the offense. You know what offense I need, Finch. Boom, that's you. Bizdelic, you are a defensive legend going through for what you did with Houston. Boom, that's your defense. I'm going to manage their egos and their mindsets. Gentry's way too much of a nice guy going through, or give guys too much leadway at times. So I'm like, Fizdale? Imagine if it was Lue and Fizdale. That's two top guys that's not taking anything from anybody.
Yeah,
You're not getting any kind of leadway.
How do you feel about this? I'm going to give you some names, and I want to get your thoughts on some of them, assuming that Fizdale doesn't have them, because I really like Fizdale, too. He's in my top 5 coaches. I'm going to give you some of the other names in my top 5, no particular order. How do you feel about the name Kenny Atkinson?
Kenny Atkinson, I think, is probably the most popular name, and that's why I think a lot of fans really, really love it. Because he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong at all in saying that. I think he's a fine and adequate coach. But I think the reason why so many fans love him is just because he's really popular and coming from a Brooklyn team that's going to have a ton of success in the next 2 years.
Yeah,
or should have a ton of success. But I don't know enough about what he would bring as a manager for me to just be behind the rah-rah Kenny Atkinson train. And my view on coaches is mainly that you have about 5 or 6 elite coaches. Then you have a ton of neutrals.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to swing game this way or the other, and you have Joe Boylan over here. As I'm the worst coach that you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
So my initial thoughts would be like Kenny Atkinson. I think he'd be fine, but they want to think about, the price point, what's it going to take to bring him in. I think he's going to be one of the more expensive coaches because he's so popular.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's going to get a ton of interviews from all of the teams that are going around. Again, that open market just makes things a lot tougher. So I think you can get more bang from your buck with a Fizdale. I hope the next name you bring up isn't going to be Jeff Van Gundy.
No.
Mark Jackson.
Jesus, no, not at all.
I've seen a lot of, but what about Mark Jackson?
Oh, no, I am never bringing up Mark Jackson. Next, I'm going to go with a former player route, Jerry Stackhouse. Ties to Brandon Ingram.
That's what I do like. I'm not going to lie. I followed a little bit of his, I believe it was the Raptors 405, whatever their G League
team is, yeah.
The team name is the 405 or whatever that area code is going through. I actually do like Stackhouse a lot as an attempt to get him in. I don't know what kind of route that a lot of player coaches have to take. It's so random. Like Steve Nash just pops out of the blue and gets a head coaching job.
Same thing. I think Billups is going to get one this year too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to seeing how it's so hard to call.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to predict success of, okay, he's never been a coach and this guy's just jumping in. It's so random. So Stackhouse I like because he has head coaching experience in the G League and he's been developed. His whole job has just been development. And obviously that's where the Pelicans are right now. We have so many young guys. Development has to be your number one option. I don't want to hear anything about we have to make the playoffs. We have to this. You got Naw. You got Frank, who's still in the development stage. They're still going to be with the team. I'm assuming that the roster is going to be the same. I don't know the moves that they're going to be made, but currently, we have Naw, we have Frank, we have Jax, we have Zion, we have B.I., we have Lonzo. All these guys are in the development stage. And you only got so many resources to put in. You don't have 6 Fred Vincents to say, oh, we got to help Lonzo, Zion, and B.I. with their shot, and Naw with their shot. You only have one Fred Vincent, and he only has so much time and so many hours that he's clocking in. So how are you going to, allocate his time to all these guys? You can't. So having a coach that specializes in development, I think would help a lot. But the other side of that is I just think we got too many young guys on the roster, and that's a whole different story.
That is true, and we will get to a question about that. The next coach I'm going to mention is I'm going to mention 2 assistant coaches. So we got Ime Udoka from Philadelphia and Darvin Ham from Milwaukee.
Now, Darvin Ham is really, really good in my opinion, but you've already heard how high I am on Milwaukee. So anybody tied with that Milwaukee team, I'm kind of like, my ears perk up a little bit. Like I'm listening. A lot of assistants for my coaching searches, I really need to go in depth of how you are as a manager, and I can't really judge it from the outside looking in.
Yeah,
especially from assistants, it's a lot tougher. From head coaches, it's a lot easier to go and find some networking and some plugs to say, okay, with this, that. For assistants, I just haven't really looked into it that much because the X and O's, a lot of a lot of fans are like, oh, we got to get the guy who can drop this play, that play. Dude, every single coach and assistant coach and half of even the developmental coaches can draw X and O's and run these plays like pick the right play for these situations. It's about managing these guys and getting them to buy into the system that you're going through. And that's where I got to see. I don't know how Ham is, but if anything, everyone in Milwaukee bought into what they're doing.
Yep.
Everybody in Milwaukee. So that perks me up like, okay, they're doing something right over there. I want to know what you did if I'm interviewing and I don't know much about it, what did you do to contribute to everybody buying in this way? And how can you get our guys to buy in that same kind of way?
100%. Next up, I want to get to some of the extensions. First, Brandon Ingram. Should we sign him to this max deal or should we extend him?
I don't even know if it's a should kind of deal with Brandon. I think you kind of back into a corner of having to.
Yep.
I think you have, like, there's a lot of contracts where, hey, you don't really want to give out the max, but we can't afford to lose you. Like, losing you hurts us a lot more than overpaying for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that, okay, you earned this max and, you know, he still has a lot of development to go before I consider him a max player as far as saying, like, you've completed your game. You've completed your game. Here's the max amount of money I can give you because you're already at that stage that I want you at. He's far from that, but it hurts you a lot more losing him than it does, you know, short selling.
Okay, and the next guy I got, Lonzo Ball. What do you think about him?
Oh, look, you're trying to get me in trouble.
No, I just got to ask.
Oh, man. So I was talking to my guy, Bud Lane, a really good YouTuber going through when we met up at a basketball game here there in New Orleans. And we were watching Zoe, and it was at, like, peak Zoe height. And I was still like, I don't know if I buy into Zoe as that point guard for the future. Not as an NBA level point guard, not as even a Pelican, but being that I'm running the show point guard for the Pelicans just because how far he still has in his game to go. And I've heard some things about his ego. Like, he has a huge, huge ego, I think, as far as what he views himself as. And I've never really bought into him as that guy for being a point guard of the future. So
you hesitant on it, yeah. You hesitant on extending.
I'm trying to be nicer with my words regarding Lonzo.
No, 100%. I get it. Look, the people can understand where you're going with that one. Next, I'm gonna take the pressure off you. Next guy, Drew Holiday. What should we do with him? Should we trade him? Assets are he's at the height of his what we can get for him. I'm sure he wants to play on a playoff team. 4 of these teams right now could use him.
You keep your ear open. He is the guy. Like, if he was on, we were just talking about Miami.
Yeah.
So Drew that defense is
over.
That defense is the number one defense. We just saw Houston get knocked out, and James Harden saying, "Well, we're one piece away." Throw him there while Westbrook's doing all this, losing his mind. Let him take Westbrook's assignment. Let Westbrook kind of be able to focus a little more.
Yep.
Throw him in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's probably not like he's that guy to put some teams over the hump. He's so many teams that are on the edge over the hump. So I think you keep an ear open because that kind of value doesn't last long. Like, he's not going to be a guy that can put teams over the hump in 3 years, 4 years.
You got to do it now while the iron's hot.
His game is very lateral and very speed based on defense. You know, like, and obviously defense is Drew's main thing. You need to get it before age starts kicking in. And, Drew's not as fast as he used to be. His hands aren't as good in the lane as it used to be. I think that you keep an ear open. I wouldn't actively put him on the block. I wouldn't say, hey, we need to get rid of Drew. Give me all your offers. But I'd keep an ear open if a team calls me, if a Denver calls me and says, hey, we can give you Murray, this, and this. Okay, I listen.
Yeah.
But I'm not portraying him and trying to throw him away.
I'm listening if Miami's talking hero, none, Robbins, like Like,
there's a lot of, that's the thing. The teams that need them to go, it's not like a team that needs a foundation. Like, Phoenix isn't going to look at Drew because they need foundations. It's all high playoff level teams, the championship level teams that need you. So they actually have assets that you can get. They actually have players that you want. Yep. There's not really much stuff that you want from the teams that need a new foundation. Like outside of Booker and
Ayton.
Booker, Ayton, and I would even take Javon Carter going through. There's not much like that you want from those teams, but Miami calls, Denver calls, Toronto calls.
Yeah,
Fred VanVleet's going to be in free agency. He's going to get a big payday soon,
But I get what you're saying. No, any of those teams call Indiana, Miami, Toronto, Denver.
There's some assets. You're not dealing with the low-level teams here.
Yep. And to me, I don't even want to count the Nets because I feel like Karis LeVert, like there's better people to get besides Karis LeVert. Like I think Denver, I would rank it Miami 1, Denver 2, Indiana, Toronto 3, and then I'll listen to the Nets.
Then I don't see if the Nets are going to be throwing in picks and stuff. I'm like, y'all are going to be good for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for a while. I don't know about these late first round picks that are. And when you're outside of the lottery, in my opinion, you might as well have a late first or second round pick.
Yeah, because it's a crapshoot.
If it's not a lottery, I can really get the guys that I'm looking for. The pick. It's a pick. Like the pick is what it is, whether it's going to be late first round or second or early second round. It's all the same to me. After that, outside of the lottery,
100%. What would you, in your opinion, like to see from Zion next season? What would you like to see him work on this summer?
Defense. Some level of effort on defense. Zion is. I lose my mind every time I see Zion. Dude, they like, oh my God, he has a second jump like I've never seen before. He jumps out of this world. He has a post game at 6'8", like he's Shaq. But oh my God, his perimeter defense is so lazy. I have not seen defense this lazy since Boogie, and I think that Zion might be a lot lazier than Boogie when it comes to defense. He just doesn't move his feet. It's so infuriating for me to watch. He doesn't move his feet. He doesn't jump. He doesn't use any of his height
athleticism
into his vert. Like you're 6'8", but there's a lot of undersized guys. Even let's say I'm not going to go through with a crazy great defender, but let's say Derrick Jones Jr., who's also about 6'8".
Yeah.
He's a really, and again, you're a Miami guy. He's a really, really good shot blocker, in my opinion. And it's not because he's the tallest guy or super. It's because he's effort. It's because he's effort, and he knows how to use that athleticism and knows when to jump. Zion doesn't really jump on defense. Zion doesn't really use any of those gifts he has on defense, and his lateral speed sucks. It's really, really bad. So defense and also defensive rebounding.
Yeah, he definitely got to work on his rebound.
It's hard to critique his rebounding because his offensive rebounding is so amazing, especially on his own shots. So a lot of people assume that, okay, his rebound is fine. His defensive rebounding, it's nowhere near what his potential should be. He doesn't block out and he doesn't seek out rebounds the way that you would like him to for a guy that you know that can do it. And you see that the two things that I want are the things that coaches all say are effort-based.
Yeah.
Defense and rebounding. It's all about one. So I think it's possible, it's definitely possible for him to fix those things. But it's all about, do you want to put in the effort to fix them?
In the work, yeah, 100%. What would you like to see from Brandon Ingram this offseason? Because that's our big two going for a couple years.
I think Brandon Ingram's biggest weakness is his handle. I'd also like to see him add a second
move
specialization.
Yeah.
Not even a move, because scoring, you're fine. I think that's going to be something he can do regardless. It's going to come and go. I want something that you can add more consistently. Let's take Kevin Durant for an example. A few years ago, back in OKC, Kevin Durant, best scorer in the league, but that's pretty much what he was for you, a pretty good, okay defender, best scorer in the league. When he went to Golden State, amazing shot blocker.
Yeah.
I think the best shot blocker in the league.
He was great.
Yeah, so adding that second and more consistent skill set, whether it's for Brandon Ingram being a better rebounder or being a better shot blocker, or being able to work on your hands and timing and jumping legs. Something else that you can control other than scoring that's more consistent. But as far as scoring, I want a tighter handle. Sending two people at Brandon Ingram is an easy way to force a turnover because his handle is so wide that he can't dribble through traffic.
Yep.
His arms are so long and it's so wide, and he has this AI-style crossover.
Yeah, when he hits
without the AI-style control. So it's all the way out here, and you got two guys, it's gone every time. So just work on that handle and a second, more consistent skill.
Specialization, 100%. Okay, so what should fans go in with the expectations of next season for this Pelicans team? And of course, we don't know the coach. We don't know what they're going to add and take away. But just at this point, what should they expect going into next season?
The coach and what they add and what they take away isn't going to affect what they should expect at all, because the coach is it's not minute, but it's not going to change the trajectory of where the team's goals should be. You want to have a coach that aligns with the goals that you have right now. Not a guy that's going to come in and say, oh, you're working on development? Well, I want a title team right now. Well, then you're not our coach. We need to develop.
Yeah.
So even for this year, I was like, why are we focusing on playoffs? It's a failure. We'll make the 8th seed. Next year is the same stuff that you should have been focused on this year. Development. Looking at what the heck is Naw looking like he should be, and if you want to keep him going through, or if you want to spend the resources to develop him. How would you actually get Jax to be a more consistent NBA center? Because Jax is still so raw, because he's still a college player. Like, dude just made, 2021? And
he just started playing basketball his senior year of high school.
Yeah, like he was a football player, man. He was a whole tight end out here. Like, basketball is still super raw to him. Putting in those resources and figuring out, okay, we don't need these resources for this player because we don't see him part of our future. Let's move more of the resources into Jax or into Zoe or into BI. So figuring out, have your goals be development and figuring out who's here for the future and who you can move and how you can finish your foundation. Because having a lot of youth and potential is dumb as hell to me. A lot of people I want this person because he has potential. Potential don't mean shit unless you actually
turn it into something. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, what about the potential? And nobody can realize the potential here if you have 10 guys on your roster here who
that
all
are potential
need
guys.
resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, who all need the resources. You don't have enough resources to go. You don't have enough coaching time or enough minutes to give all of these guys. So that potential doesn't mean anything. Instead, have 4 guys, have 5 guys on the whole team who you can focus on and put all the resources for. And that raises the chances that they can reach their potential.
100%. Man, thank you so much, Drew, for coming on talking Pelicans with us. I got to ask you, because I know you're an anime guy. What's some of your favorite anime, man?
Let's see. So my favorite anime is One Piece. I also really like Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin.
Are you caught up on One Piece? I'm assuming so.
I'm not caught up all the way on One Piece because, man, I started from number 1. I'm on like 670 something.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say nothing. Bet. One Piece is amazing, though.
Bro, when I go to the Konbinis and to the theme stores and see all the mangas, I got to turn my head from the covers. I'm like, I'm seeing all these pictures of Luffy not even looking like himself.
Yeah.
Hunter. All my kids, all my students love Kimetsu no Yaiba. Which is Demon Slayer.
Yeah. I'm an MHA guy when it comes to Demon Slayer. I like Demon Slayer. I caught up. I finished it because it's over now. The ending, man, like it starts off so hard and then it doesn't find the landing.
Let me tell you what. I didn't know what Demon Slayer was until like a few weeks ago. I've heard the name, but all my kids here, obviously, they just speak Japanese, so they're just like, Kimetsu no Yaiba. And I'm like, I've never watched this. I'm thinking it's about to be some like Pom-Pom and a Pokemon type of like And like, the kids that watch it are like super fans for it. I'm like my 3-year-old. And I'm like, all right, this is Big Sesame Street. I turn it on, and the first thing is like, all right, bro, I'm about to decapitate your sister. like, what? Oh my God. But here, even Attack on Titan is like the kids show.
Crazy. And Attack on Titan is wild. I'm so ready for that new season.
Because I'm walking around and like, okay, my little girls have like the Aaron t-shirt and books. I'm like, all right, this is a kid's show here. Somehow I'm at home when I'm a kid watching fucking Teletubbies.
Yeah, like our kids' shows are completely different. That's crazy. So we got Attack on Titan, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter. That's a solid 3. That's a solid 3.
That's probably my top ones. I got a bunch of recommendations from people, but I can't think of them right now. Give me some of yours going through. Of course, I love the classics like Dragon Ball and Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop and stuff. But those are the ones I'm watching right now.
Some recommendations I'm going to go off the wall. So Monster. I recommend that to everybody now. Monster, no powers, is just a psychological thriller of this doctor gets falsely accused of murder, and he has to clear his name. That's all it is.
Ooh.
It's
I like that because I like Death Note. That sounds a little bit like this route Death Note took of just like all psychological stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of power in the Notebook, but it's a lot of like detective mental stuff. Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. I got another one, Black Lagoon. It's in the vein of Trigun and Cowboy Bebop. It's these 3. Yeah. There's a black guy, a Chinese girl, an American dude, and a Japanese guy. And they're basically like this delivery company, but they work for the mafia. So they're kind of like these bounty hunter, do-it-all, fix-it type guys. And that one's super, super good, Black Lagoon. And I'll give you a shonen.
Trigun was my shit. Trigun was my stuff when I was young, man.
Yo, Trigun is my jam. Like, I love Trigun. And the final suggestion I'm gonna give is, it's not a shonen, it's a seinen, Vinland Saga. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's just some Vikings, and it's this kid that grows up, his dad dies.
I put this on YouTube. All right, I seen a clip of this on YouTube randomly in my suggestion, and I ended up watching like 15 minutes of this crazy fight.
So fire.
I never remember what the name was. That's what it is, Vinland.
Vinland Saga. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right, cool. I got Prime too. Amazon Prime here is just like $2 a month.
Crazy. Well, look, Amazon Prime has some fire anime. Definitely check out Vinland Saga. But thank you so much, Drew, for coming on the podcast. Tell the people they can find you. Tell them where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, it's Dru Productions, DRUPRODUCTIONS. That's my handle on all of my social medias. You'll find me the same little picture. You'll see everywhere.
Hell yeah, y'all go follow Drew, man. He gives some amazing basketball commentary during the games and not during the games, as well as some good movie, anime, comics, all that good stuff. So y'all make sure y'all go follow him. But let's finish up Bros Who Ball. Want to send a big thank you to Drew for coming on the podcast. Really, really appreciated it. Can't wait till I go out to Japan, my brother, and you are living the life out there. Super dope. You stay safe and everything. Funny enough, your Clippers didn't make it, so yeah, interesting like that. So let's start right there. There's multiple places I want to take this. First, we got to talk about the game, but then we got to talk about, is this the worst meltdown that we've seen in terms of being up 3-1 in the playoffs and losing? Of course, there's 2. Then I want to talk about, what can the Clippers do to make themselves better? Like, should they trade certain people? Then I want to talk about about Denver and give Denver the props, and then lead to talking about Los Angeles versus Denver. So there's multiple facets we need to take this. So I'm going to start off with you, Justin. What the hell happened last night to the Clippers, bro? Like, I wanted to say the F word, but I'm going to hold off my cursing until necessary. What happened last night?
Jamal Murray happened, Nico happened, the Nuggets happened.
You're giving more props to the Nuggets than you are to the Clippers just being ass.
I'm giving them props, but they were also terrible. Paul George didn't show up, Kawhi didn't show up, and I know everyone has a bad game, but that was just the wrong night to have a bad game. It was Game 7, money, it was on the line to face the Lakers. They've been hyped all season. It was their time.
Yeah, it was.
And it just slipped out their hand.
Look.
They dropped the ball.
I'm not gonna, and I know a lot of people are like, haha, Kawhi, don't ever mention him with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan again, don't do this, Kawhi choked, all of this. I'm not blaming this on Kawhi, man. I'm not. And I understand Kawhi should have played better. 14 points is unacceptable. But for a man that was putting up 30 points every game against Dallas, majority of the games against this, while his partner could not help him one time, it's on Paul George. Because if Paul George would have assisted Kawhi earlier than this, he wouldn't have had to exert all of that energy against Doncic in Dallas, which they shouldn't have had a problem with, and against this early on. Like, Paul George, Pandemic P, Catastrophe P, what was the other one I saw? Just horrible P. They had pandemic. They had, what's another P word that's just bad? Give me some, Schubert. Give me some P words that are just terrible. I want to say PUSSYP, but I'll just spell it. Pussy P. Shit, he deserves it. He deserves it. How can you go make 10 points, shoot 4 for 16 from the field, shoot 2 of 11? He shot 25% from the field and 18% from 3. He had
side of the backboard.
He had 5 turnovers. He was negative 20. He had 2 assists. So not only was he not scoring, he wasn't facilitating. He was telling people, go to other side. They had someone literally in the game that was like, no, don't do the action on my side. This was the first time I saw the supposed tough guy team just look scared. They didn't want nothing to do with the Nuggets. I can understand if they lost by 5, if they lost by 7, even if they lost by 10. They lost by 20 points. And I don't care if people say 15. They lost by 20. They got 20 skunked in a playoff game in the beginning of the fourth quarter. My mind was blown last night. It was just outrageous. Lou Will, 6-man, Lou, 7 points. Nigga, you can't score 7 points if you go into the strip club before the bubble. I'm sorry. You can't. Montrez, 6-man of the year, 20 points. He did his job. JaMychal Green, 11 points. How can JaMychal Green get more points than you, Paul George? Atrocious.
It's because he's built by Bama.
How can Pat Beverly get more points than you, Paul George? Atrocious. And again, I'm not blaming this on Kawhi. I'm not going to say Kawhi choked. Kawhi had a bad game. And granted, it was the wrong time to have a bad game.
He had a bad game, man.
He did.
7, you guys show up.
I agree, Justin. I agree.
You guys show up in game 7.
I agree. But to sit, I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm not. But I'm not putting him on the level of how we judge a Giannis, how we judge a James Harden, how we judge a Paul George. Why not? Because he won. He's done it before. He's done it in the closing moment. No, man. I'm not letting y'all act like everything Kawhi has done. So Kawhi hasn't shown up in the clutch and hit game winners, get game-winning steals, game-winning blocks. Like, he's done it. He's done it every other time. But look, I don't disagree with you.
But this is his team.
I agree. It was his team in Toronto.
They won.
But that's my point. He did that. He was the reason why they won. And look, this is 1,000%. Kawhi has to be held accountable. But to put him on the same level as Paul George, James Harden, and Giannis, I'm not doing that. I'm not. That's
he's higher than them.
I'm just saying he had a bad game. Look, LeBron did this against Dallas in the finals.
And we called him out on it.
I did, and I'm calling him out. I'm saying, Kawhi, you played a bad game. I'm just not holding it against him. That's all. I'm saying you had. You can 1,000, but the person I'm holding accountable for this is 1,000% Paul George. 1,000,000% Paul George. It's his fault they even got into this place in the first place. Schubert, what's your thoughts on all this?
Well, I mean, it's difficult because you go back to Game 6, and then Paul George put up 33. And the people who weren't playing well were the people who were playing well on Game 7, Green and Harrell. And Lou Williams only had 14. So I mean, it's like they should have won that game before. But like, I think what's difficult here is,
can I give Kawhi stats real quick for the conference finals? Just real quick. He had 25 in that game that you just said. The game before that, in Game 5, he had he had, hold on, where's his number at? He had 36. Game before that, game 4, he had, hold on, I got to give all of Kawhi. He had 30 while Paul George had 10. He had 30. Game 3, let's see what he had. I'm pretty sure he had 30 again. He had 23.
Well, so the thing is,
this was his worst game.
They should have won all of
playoffs.
those games.
Yes.
You had, it was 3. It was 3-1.
Yes.
Why did it even come to this point is the whole thing. And then you go into game 7, and the game that you actually do need to score the 30 points, you don't even do it. So
game 4.
I'm not blaming it all on him because, George was 4 for 16, 2-11.
Yep.
Williams 3 for 11 from the floor. Like,
and then
nobody
game 4,
can make a shot.
Game 4 with the closing game, Kawhi had dropped 30 plus, and Lou Will had 12, and Paul George had 10 to close it out in game 4. Like you said, it should have happened before this.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, later on, right, when we talk about the East, you're going to talk about like deep rosters, and what's been happening throughout the playoffs is that the thing about the Clippers is, they have the deepest roster in the West. Well, where was that deep roster? I mean, if when you have all of your players not making shots, then of course you're going to lose by 20 points. I think what people need to give a little bit of credit for, and I guess we'll do that a little bit later, is that the Nuggets were a team that was 2-3 in the West all year long,
consistent.
And when it came to it, Jamal Murray was like, you know what, back against the wall, I got to score 40 points. I'm going to score 40 points.
Yeah, and look,
back against the wall, Jokic. Maybe I'm not going to be able to get it in the points column, but I'm going to get 22 rebounds.
And that's the thing. My thing.
Kawhi Leonard could have found other ways to do it. Paul George could have found other ways.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm leaning. Paul George
neither one of them, got it done when their back was against the wall.
Also, I know this is an excuse, but it's true. The Clippers didn't play together as long as one would expect. We saw this happen with Miami when they couldn't win the finals their first year with the Big Three. I'm just saying. This is the truth. This is the truth. The full team together only played. I don't think they played 40 games. I don't think they played a total of 40 games together. I think they might have played like 20 something. And I think due to the Nuggets' consistency of having this team for multiple years know each other, it played a factor. Their depth played a factor because they know exactly who they can go to. The Nuggets go 1, 2, 3, 4. They go 8 deep. But that 8 is the 8 they've been playing with for multiple years. When you have people in the bubble where you have Lou Will missing the first 2 weeks because of Magic City, when you got Patrick Beverly on and off, when you got Marcus Morris getting kicked out of games, and it's issues. Also, as much as I'm blaming Paul George, I'm blaming Doc Rivers.
Sure. I mean, that was where I was about to get to anyway. Like, the person I blame the most out of the Clippers' downfall is Doc Rivers. And we'll get to that, but let's
do it now. Might as well.
Sure. I mean, how can you go 3 straight games, lose, and not make any adjustments to win that game?
And then the only adjustment you want to make is double teaming Jokic at the end of the game, which was horrible because when you double team Jokic and have somebody locked on Jamal Murray, it's just 3-on-2, baby, and Jokic is tall enough to just dump it into the open man. Justin, you know that. If you double teaming Jokic at the free throw line and you got Jamal Murray out at the 3, there's 3 other people and 2 defenders to guard the 3 people, and Jokic is tall enough to just go and find the open man. No adjustments, no looking at doing zones, no looking at boxing ones, no looking at That's why Nick Nurse, Eric Spoelstra, and Brad Stevens are the best coaches in the NBA, bar none, because they make adjustments in game, out of game, and they're willing to try a multitude of things to win. Whereas Doc Rivers stuck to his guns, and it failed him. And he might lose his job.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's on everyone. It's definitely on Doc Rivers also. But I wouldn't say he's the main reason, because at the end of the day, the players are the people who are playing. So I knew
you was gonna say that.
I have to go there because I've been there. I'm not saying I've been in a game.
But how do you feel if your coach doesn't give you, like, I agree that players have to play, but if we are strategizing all week in practice, you know how big that is, and then you have the scout team, and your coach doesn't put in any adjustments, and you're left out there blind.
Honestly, I feel like I really feel like he really trusted his players to really just go man. I really feel like he felt like Paul George and Kawhi were going to eventually lock up. Because really,
they didn't.
And they didn't. But I really feel like he thought just going man to man, they were going to be good enough to do that.
And that's arrogance.
Yeah, you got to be able to adjust. It's looking like that. And you see the other teams, switching it up, playing different type of coverages.
This is a new NBA. It's not the NBA where Doc Rivers played basketball where it's just man-to-man. This NBA, because of threes, you can play zone. You can do all these different things that are fundamentally basketball defenses, but the NBA for so many years was just like, oh, we just playing straight up man-to-man. But now because offenses and players are so good at scoring, you have to bring in some of these concepts, and he refused to. But like I said, I'm putting most of the blame on Doc Rivers and Paul George. Justin is going across the board, and Schubert is placing most of his blame on Doc Rivers as well.
Yeah. The thing that upset me the most probably on the Clippers end was like at the end of the game where you're hearing the reports of Paul George was like, oh, well, this wasn't a winner go home year for us. I'm like, what are you talking about, guy? Like, this was like the year to win.
That's why I don't blame it on Kawhi as much, because Kawhi, you saw in Kawhi's eyes when they was sitting on the bench and Paul George is just staring off in La La Land, and Kawhi hits him with a.
Hey, but you acting like Kawhi, like he's off the hook. I don't know how you guys can take him. Like
he's not off the hook.
Jamal Murray had 40.
That's true.
A triple-double. So why couldn't he have a 30-point game?
He could. Justin.
Why haven't in game 7?
He should have. He 1,000% should have. I'm just saying, after putting up 30, 25, 30 for all those games leading up, while Paul George can slack off, while Paul George can just throw his hands up and not do nothing, the guy you called to have help, and you don't have help. My guy was due for a bad game. He was. It just happened at the wrong moment for him. That's why I'm saying 1,000%. Kawhi is at fault. You're the leader of the team. You're supposed to come through no matter what. But as someone who's played basketball and someone who knows, he was due for a bad one. He was. And that's where your teammate got to pick you up.
I should have been there.
Where I'm the most upset is like what I was saying.
And Lou Will should have picked him up too. Lou Will was unplayable. Lou Will couldn't play no defense that game. Lou Will was getting scored on by everybody.
Yeah,
is that where you was gonna go, Schubert, and blaming Lou Will too?
It's just a mentality thing for me. It just seems like they didn't have any sort of killer instinct when it came to the playoffs. And like with Paul George saying what he said, it just makes me like question like what their whole mindset was. That's why I'm like down on the coaching. You got Doc Rivers, Tyronn Lue, and Sam Cassell, who are all supposed to be, quality coaches on the bench. Coaches. And you can't get, Paul George in the right mindset to think that this is like a win or go home kind of situation. Like, I mean, the dude needs to go out there. I mean, this is like something that could have changed the entire lives of the Clippers fan base. Like, this was like a giant, huge season that they just let slip through their fingers. Like, and they just don't, and he just doesn't care.
And it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that they'll be back in that position. For him to say that after a game, not even 5 minutes after the game ended, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
And that's why, like, this win, I say, is the worst win I've ever witnessed.
Ooh, good transition, Justin.
Because of what could have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it was going, the hype,
You're now the team of LA. You have Inglewood, you got your own stadium. Y'all are the kings of LA. Y'all no longer pay rent at Staples. Because I saw, shout out to Josiah Johnson, him and his crew was like, that's why you fuckers pay rent. I want my rent at the first of the month, every month. Because y'all are just the JV team. And it's true. They could have broke that mold. I want to ask y'all, we talked about this earlier in the pod. Me, Justin, and Doom. I mean, me, Brooklyn, and Doom. I don't know why I always do that. Me, Brooklyn, and Doom, we talked about this. And Brooklyn argued the opposite way than me. We asked and that's why I said great transition by Justin. Which 3-1 loss is worse? And we can't talk about the stuff in the past because we didn't see it. We're talking about in our lifetime. Between the Warriors 3-1 loss that they, after the 73-win season, or this Clippers 3-1 loss. And Brooklyn said the Warriors. But I'm going to give my piece, and then I want to hear y'all. I think it is this team because The Warriors played LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. That's an amazing group. LeBron James is arguably the best player ever. Also, I believe that the Warriors would not have lost if Draymond Green doesn't get suspended, if Steph Curry wasn't injured, and Andrew Bogut wasn't injured. Those are three key factors where the Clippers were fully healthy, and they're playing against Jamal Murray and Jokic. No disrespect to them, but that's not LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. This is 100% the worst meltdown I've seen in the playoffs. Justin, how you feel about that?
I definitely think this one was also because they were up 3-1 first off, and the games that they lost, they were up 16, they were up 19.
Yeah, oh God, I forgot about that.
And the star players, they go out in a game 7, the way to change the whole franchise, the whole mindset of the franchise, the hype going throughout the entire season, and just everything goes left. Nothing goes right.
Everything goes left. I totally forgot that they were up by 16, up by 19. Weren't they leading in this game? Weren't they leading in this one too?
Yeah,
by like 9 or 10. Couldn't maintain a lead. Schubert, which one you think is worse?
Well, I think that that this one is worse. You know, going to the Warriors one, I mean, they had already won before. Yeah. So it wasn't like you were trying to like make this monumental
This was just for the perfect season. That's all it was.
I mean, this was even for LA. Like this is, you know, they were getting an opportunity to play the Lakers to
own the city,
claim some stake in the city. Like at this point, I was telling my friend, I was like, they might as well just move out. Like they might as well just relocate because, like, you know, especially if you're going to give the Lakers a chance to win a title, which nobody thought that they were ever going to. Like there were the LeBron people out there that thought that LeBron was going to get it done. But this is the first time all season long that I've thought LeBron probably might win a title now.
This is the first time I thought it.
I mean, you know, it's one thing to be the Clippers and lose, and you know, sure you have good things going for you in the future, but to lose and then give the Lakers the opportunity to win the championship, and the Lakers are the ones who end up winning the ring, then then it becomes the worst because you were never a winner before. You're still not a winner. And who knows if you're going to be a winner in the future?
Yep. So who knows this happens again? You're moving into a new stadium in Inglewood, and there's not much you can do to your roster. My question to y'all is: do they trade Paul George, or should they trade Paul George?
Okay. I guess I'll go first. But
go ahead.
I wouldn't trade him. I would just get more. Like,
but I don't know if they have the cap space too. I don't know if I don't know who they can add, because you got to think they already have 2 max players. They would have to get someone to come in at a lesser salary. I don't know if they can get someone to do that. You know what I mean? It's like if I offer now I don't think Houston will do it, but if I'm offering Paul George for James Harden, that's something I'd do. If I could would you offer Paul George for Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid? I think that's something I would do. Either one. Because at least Ben Simmons plays defense. And can create.
That is true.
That's true.
And Joel Embiid, you have a big man that could guard the Jokic's and ADs.
But the only thing is what team. I'm not trying to downplay. I'm not trying to play Paul George. I think he
what team wants him? That's the question.
I think he could be a good third option. I don't think he's that second option.
Yeah, I agree.
What team wants him?
That's the thing. If I'm the Sixers, I don't accept it. Me personally.
If I'm any team, I don't accept it. Like, you really can't get anything for him, because if you try to trade him, you don't want to get a bunch of role players because he's more than that. But then you can't get a max player because he's not worth that. So you're kind of stuck in between.
You're stuck in a shitty situation. That's why they had to win this year. Because they traded all their draft capital away. I honestly believe, and I know people might shit on me for this, and granted, the truth is they couldn't keep this because Kawhi wouldn't have came. Kawhi asked for Paul George, so you got to live in that bed you made. But I think if they have Shai Gilgeous, Danilo Gallinari with Kawhi and everything they have, they might have won. Might have been a better team.
Well, my thought process with that, and I've seen a lot of people be like, man, don't you wish you would have had that trade back, like with what you're saying? But my thought process right now is that OKC is in a position where they could win this trade.
Yeah,
because who knows what happens to the Clippers in the next two years and what Paul George is going to be able to do for them.
One Kawhi injury and it's over with.
But OKC on the other hand, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, and then some of the draft capital that they have, they could find a really solid young team and put that together. Like that's one thing that the Clippers are missing the most is youth. Looking into some like stats of the last game, two of their younger players, Zubac and Landry Shamet, you put their minutes together and it doesn't even hold a finger to the minutes of the other players.
And Landry Shamet got injured. He hurt his ankle.
Yeah, and he was actually producing before he got hurt. So that's the thing. You have so much old guys out there that you're depending on. So how much longer can you depend on that? And if when the Warriors come back, it's just like, can you beat the Warriors?
That's the thing. Like next year, I don't even know if the Clippers are the second best team in the league because Golden State is gonna do something with that second pick in Andrew Wiggins. They're gonna get somebody back. They will get either a Devin Booker, a Donovan Mitchell, a Drew Holiday. They getting somebody.
Even if they don't and they end up taking the pick, like they have an opportunity to get like Anthony Edwards, who could be a solid player in a role for them, or James Wiseman, a big man that they could really use to combat some of the other big men in the West, like Jokic and AD.
Yep.
So, the Warriors are in the best position right now, and the Clippers are in this limbo position where it's like, we're a little bit too old to blow everything up and try for something new, because like we are in a mentality right now that if we don't have time to just rebuild. Like
that
we have
should
to do
be
this
the mentality.
Now but so you can't really do anything with Paul George.
And then Denver, which we haven't talked about yet, next year, if Michael Porter Jr. develops in Bull, who watch out because the Clippers aren't even third; they're fourth at that point.
I mean, the Nuggets made a statement.
Let's talk about that. Let's switch to the Nuggets. I think Jamal Murray has finally shown. For years on this podcast, I have said the Nuggets won't be real until they solidify who's that second option. And now, Jokic is the second option, baby. Jokic is the playmaker. Jamal Murray is the guy. 1,000% has taken the Kobe role and let Jokic take the Shaq role, but more so not dominant like Shaq. I'm just saying the big man like Shaq. But Jokic is a facilitator, can get 20-plus rebounds and make sure you still get 15 to 20 points. And Jamal Murray's going to come out and put 20-plus. And that's beautiful, especially if you can get performances like you did from Gary Harris, giving you 14, Jeremy Grant giving you 14. And if Michael Porter Jr. can get his head together, he's a 15-plus walking bucket. And then don't let Bull develop. I mean, my goodness, Denver is looking good for a while. Justin, what do you see about Denver? You could talk about it in this series, what you saw from them, and then let's transition into Los Angeles versus Denver.
Yeah, the best thing about this team is that, first off, they're young, they're athletic, they're talented, and they play defense. Like, they do all of the small things, and they know how to shoot. Everybody can shoot on that team. And I just think going up against the Lakers, that series, it kind of favors them because they're such a great shooting team. I think they're a better shooting team than the Lakers. And you got Jamal Murray and Jokic, who are, also very good players. But I still think, even though that they're the better team, I still think that LA has the two best players.
That's true.
That they're going to dominate that series. And I think that they win in 6 games.
Ooh, you got them winning in 6. All right, bet. Look, I'm trying to pull up because I think they have one of their Denver's assistant coaches is Wes Unseld Jr. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. Because people are saying he should be a candidate for people looking at him because he made Denver's defense. Yes, Wes Unseld Jr., lead assistant coach. We got to watch out for him. He's a name that you got to throw in the coaching carousel because he made Denver's defense what it is. Like Justin said, Denver's a defensive team. You have a guard in Murray who can get you 20-plus points. You got Jokic who can guard an AD, who can battle with him. You got Paul Millsaps, who's a veteran, gives you that quality buckets when you can. You got 3-and-D guards that they can throw at LeBron. Granted, they won't stop LeBron, but you have bodies you can throw at him from Millsaps to Torrey Craig to Bates Diop to Jeremy Grant. You got a list of them, but they do have the two best players. It comes down to the question of similar thing in the Eastern Conference, depth versus talent. And not saying Denver's not talented. I don't want to bet against them because I don't think the Lakers have the guards to guard a Jamal Murray and a Gary Harris. The question is LeBron and AD dominant enough to overcome the Nuggets' full team. I'm not sure yet. Schubert, I'm going to get your take before I give my picks.
Well, I think Jamal Murray would have to score 40 to 50 points a game for them to have any shot of winning that series. And I just don't think they have the supporting cast offensively to be able to compete with the Lakers, because LeBron's going to get his. AD has the ability to do it, but hopefully he does get his for the Lakers' sake. With the Nuggets, I think that when we look at like the Clippers and we're talking about they need a piece, but they don't have the capital, it's the opposite for the Nuggets. They need one more, but I think they do have the capital, and they also have the young talent to develop. So, they're a team that may not be their year, but at least, this was a big looking up sort of deal for them, and for a lot of people to get some respect in the league, so that, maybe a free agent or someone who's, talking about the trade discussion would consider, hey, I kind of want to play with Jamal Murray and Jokic.
Drew Holiday is a person that would fit on that team very well.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good call. But I mean,
great pickup.
Yeah.
It would be a great pickup. But when it comes to the series, I could see the series going longer than the previous series for the Lakers.
I got it going. I think this is going to be the Lakers' toughest matchup so far in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure.
It might be their toughest matchup. I guess in the Western side, because I think those two East teams are both pretty good right now.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, with the Nuggets, it's just very hard for me to think that they're going to contend with LeBron when you look at the bench and nobody can put up over 10 points, and Michael Porter Jr. is just not there yet.
He's not. He's hit or miss. But the thing is, the Lakers need Danny Green to show up, who has not shown up in these playoffs. Rondo, let's be honest. Playoff Rondo is not about to give you 20 points this whole series. That's not happening. The Lakers need someone to step up like a Kyle Kuzma, a Danny Green, or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, which we have not seen happen yet. I'm picking the Nuggets in 7. I'm doing it. I'm going down with the ship. The Lakers aren't winning the championship. The Jamal Murray has convinced me. I'm going Nuggets in 7.
Man, I like it. I really do like it.
I'm going with it. I'm right. I will not pick the Lakers to give Lakers fans who watch this podcast the satisfaction that Lyndon had to come over to the dark side. I refuse. And if I'm wrong, pull up the clip. Pull up the clip if I'm wrong. Do it. God damn it.
My thought process this morning was LeBron is getting his ring sized. I can't
be mad at that. I can't.
He's gonna eat.
Yeah, he will. He definitely will.
It's just like playoff LeBron. I've just seen him do so much incredible things. Just has a one-man show, and I just think he's past that time of choking up games. And honestly, like every series that the Nuggets won, they've been down 3-1. They've never held the.
But that shows they have tenacity. That shows they don't quit. Also, LeBron won't fold. But you see 23? What's his number right now? 6? 20? What the fuck his number is? 23? What's AD number? That tall unibrow person over there? He might fold like origami.
But the thing about AD, he's a generational talent. Like AD he can get 20 and 10 without even trying.
But if he gets 20, it's gonna be like Kawhi and Paul George. LeBron gonna have to put up 30.
The issue with the teams that the Nuggets had to face on their route to where they are now is that the teams folded in the fourth quarter, and LeBron's not going to fold in the fourth quarter.
And also, the teams they had to face had the perfect people to guard Jamal Murray, which made it difficult for him to have to get off his game work. Whereas this team, I have faith in Jamal Murray versus Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Rondo, and Danny Green. I just do. He's gonna put up 20 plus on him every night. And unless LeBron guards him. And then if LeBron guards him, then you're gonna kind of use up LeBron's tank. Not saying that he'll fold or anything. I'm just saying you're gonna force him to use more gas on defense when he definitely needs to use it more on offense, because there's no playmaker on that team. I'm just giving the other side. I'm giving the Denver side. I got to rock with y'all, Nuggets.
Let's move to the East, because in my opinion, I feel like that's where we're going to see a champion.
Oh yeah, I think the champion's coming out of the East as well. So let's get to it. Game 1, Miami, my squad, baby. 117 to 114. Bam Adebayo with the clutch block on Jason Tatum. We see Jimmy Butler get 20 points, shooting 7 for 14. Bam Adebayo got 18 points. Jay Crowder with a solid 22 points.
And a big three in near the end.
What has Jay Crowder been drinking, smoking? What is Jay Crowder doing over there? The bubble has been beautiful for him. Goran Dragic, 29 points, leading the way, and Tyler Hero off the bench with a solid 12 points. But and 11 rebounds, and a very, very important three-pointer to get Miami the lead. Tyler Hero is not afraid of anything. Whereas we see the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown put up 17 points. He's going to have to do more than that. Marcus Smart put up 26. Jason Tatum put up 30. Kemba Walker put up 19. And Brad Wanamaker off the bench with 11. If it's not those four guys, Brown, Smart, Tatum, or Kemba, they're not getting points from nobody. They're not. They're just not. And I think it needs to be opposite where Jaylen Brown gets 26 and Marcus Smart gets 17 because Marcus Smart can't shoot 18 shots. He should not shoot 18 shots, taking shots away from Brown, Kemba, and Tatum. I think that's the reason why the Celtics lost, because Marcus Smart took too many shots. Jaylen Brown needs to be more aggressive. And if those four, and Kemba has to get over 19, it can't be Tatum and Smart are the top scorers. It has to be Tatum and Kemba or Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Therefore, Marcus Smart is focusing more on defense. I just don't think he can't be the high point man. But gotta give credit to Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, and the way they play hard, and Tyler Hero not being afraid. Luka Doncic is the best white person in the league, the best white boy in the league. But you see Tyler Hero has the most swaggy, confidence, just bad MFer white boy on the court. Like I would go to battle with Tyler Hero any day of the week, because that's a bad boy.
I don't know.
Oh no, Luka's better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Tyler Hero's a bad boy. That's all I'm saying.
American,
yeah, 1,000%.
I really think. You can go shoot it.
Oh no, I was gonna say, Goran is out there, and I feel like he's pretty aggressive out there on defense too. So
Goran's battling.
When I look at that game last night, I think what really you need to focus on is the fourth quarter. 35-23 was the fourth quarter Heat advantage. The Heat came together in the fourth, and they tied the game and put it into overtime. And when it came down to overtime, it was back and forth. And the bigger plays were just made by the Heat. A big three by Crowder, a big three by Hero when they needed him. And that block by Bam Adebayo was just the biggest play possibly of the whole bubble.
Bam Adebayo had 8 points in the fourth. Goran had 9. Tyler had 6. And Jimmy had 5. Where you compare it to the Celtics, Jaylen Brown had 5. Marcus Smart had 3. Tatum had 5. And Kemba had 6. Tatum can't have 5 points in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry. He can't. He can't do that. He has to have more. He's the star of that team. You got to hold him like we was talking about Kawhi. We got to hold Tatum accountable. He got to have more than 5 points in the fourth quarter.
And that's where I really think that's where the game it was lost. I really think throughout the entire game, both teams played well. Kemba Walker, he wasn't dominant, but he made some shots, but he still needs to be better. But I just think towards the end the game came down, who would close, and I just think Tatum. He didn't close the game. It was for him to take. He had a game-winning shot in the fourth quarter. The overtime, they kept going to him. He couldn't make it. He couldn't close it.
Yeah, overtime he only had 2 points. Like you can't have 7 points in overtime with overtime and fourth quarter combined. That's the shit I give AD to where he can score 1 through 3, but when it gets to the fourth, he can't. Great point, Josh. Yeah, Tatum got to do better than that.
Yeah, him and Kemba. Kemba made a couple of clutch shots, but I think them going one-on-one is not going to work. Jay Crowder, lock up, but Jimmy Butler, lock up. Hero, lock up. Like you're not going one-on-one.
Iguodala locking up.
It's just too tough. Like when you see them trying to go one-on-one, it's just too they're just too solid on defense. So they just have to find a different way of how to close the game better.
And also for the game, they had a total of 12 turnovers, Miami, compared to Boston's. Oh, Boston won the turnover battle. I thought Boston lost it. Boston had 10 turnovers. That's another reason why Boston should have won. Miami gave them more opportunities. Crazy. I'm just looking at this. Nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'd be saying all these things about Tatum if he would have made that dunk over at Bio at the end. I mean, the Celtics had every opportunity to win it. It's just, and that seems like it's been the case for the Heat in a lot of their series, is that when it comes to the moments that need to be made, they're the ones who make them.
Yeah.
So and maybe that does have to do a little bit with Spoelstra and the positions that he puts his players in. I think that Spoelstra is really kind of showing us that it wasn't just LeBron. That
for sure.
It's a situation where last week I was making fun of coaches like Steve Nash and Tyronn Lue, who well, I don't know about Steve Nash yet, but at least Tyronn Lue deferring to LeBron and whatever decisions he make. But now I'm starting to think that maybe Spoelstra had a lot to do with that, or learned a lot from his time with the Big Three.
He definitely,
and it's really coming to fruition here.
When Dwayne Wade says that Spoelstra is one of the main reasons why they win, I mean, you got to chalk it up to that. Like in Fizdale, it's just about Spoelstra knows how, when it's time to focus on X's and O's or when it's time to motivate. Spoelstra is a good mixture of both motivation and scheme, where some are more scheme-based, some are more motivational-based, like Doc Rivers, where Spoelstra can combine both of them, and he's a damn good coach. But like Justin says, players play. And like you just said, Miami seems to, every time it's in the clutch moments, they have guys who aren't afraid of the moment. They're just not. For whether it's Hero, whether it's Butler, whether it's Goran Dragic, whether it's Bam Adebayo, those dudes are not scared in the fourth quarter, where we've seen other teams fold in that fourth quarter. And that's why I think Miami's making the finals. Well,
I think it has a lot to do with how they came into the bubble. We look at the Clippers. They had all the expectations put on them. You look at the Lakers. LeBron is pretty much the expectation. He's got to get to a finals. Yeah. He's got to win. The Boston, they were one of the better
best team in the East.
And, Jason Tatum's trying to make a name for himself as a star.
Whereas the Heat's the underdog.
Bucks, who the Heat had to play, they had all the expectations placed on them. The Heat are just out there to play.
Yep.
So, every game the Heat are going to be the underdog from now until the end of the finals. And that's where they want to live.
Yeah, I got Miami in 7. I'm going to give Boston. I think Boston will make it a tough series. I got Miami in 7. Justin, what you got?
I got Celtics in 7.
Going Boston.
I trust Tatum and Kemba more than I trust anybody on the
Heat team. No, I'm not mad at that, because I think more so. Whereas I think this series is a toss-up. Whereas I'm picking Denver, but if LeBron wins, I'm not surprised. I expect LeBron to win.
Different.
Yeah, I just want to see Denver do their thing. Whereas with this, I don't care which team wins, because I love it both, and it's good basketball on either side. And I think both teams, I think no matter what, will give the Lakers a challenge and could actually win the finals.
It's just that, I know you guys knows this. It's just that things on the East, through the Raptors, the Celtics, to the Heat, it's just that everything, it just looks like everyone is just on the same page.
Yes, they play. They're a team. They play together. Yeah, but that goes
breakdowns. It's just everyone's moving. It looks like a college game almost.
That goes back to coaching and youth. It's coaching, man. It's literally as great as LeBron and AD are if they make it to the finals. Eric Spoelstra and Brad Stevens are going to have a plan for them. Whereas I don't know if Frank Vogel's going to have a plan. He just going to say, go out and play. If we're being honest. And there's guys on both ends. Bam Adebayo and Iguodala, they will send bodies at AD. They will, I know the Celtics don't have the bodies, but Theis, Cantor, and Williams will be sent at him. It's just
they may trap or do a trap or do something.
The boxing one, extended 2-3, a 3-2 where they trap. They're gonna try it. They're gonna try a 1-3-1. They're gonna try it all. Whereas the West is just we got stars. Let's just go play. And that doesn't work. That does not work right now. And I'm buying into good coaching, and that makes me really excited and scared for the Pelicans, because I think if we get the right coach, that team could be special. But Schubert, who you got winning in the Boston Heat matchup?
I think it's gonna. Well, I guess I'm just hoping it's the Heat in 7. It's like you said, it's a complete toss-up.
Yeah, it is.
But at this point, with the Clippers being out, I feel like a Heat-Lakers finals is going to be our best opportunity to see a really great finals and, make up for, what not having a normal NBA playoffs. But I think that Miami's just been the team of the bubble in the playoffs, and they are going to try and close it out here and prove that it's not a fluke. It's all going to come down to the young guys. And it had to be the Celtics once, and now it's going to have to be the Heat.
The Heat, yeah. These young guys are proving what it is. The right mixture of young guys, veterans, and great coaching. What do y'all think about Mike D'Antoni getting fired? The Rockets need a new coach. Schubert, do you see do you want Mike D'Antoni for the Pelicans?
Wait. Didn't he resign, or did they?
Oh, he might have resigned.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought he got fired.
From what it sounded like from the people that, from, I guess, people talking in Twitter, it sounded like it was fired, but I didn't really look into the whole information on that.
Oh, Mike D'Antoni stepped down. Justin's right. He stepped down.
Okay.
I see a lot of people saying they want Mike D'Antoni and Zion, and I don't want that. I don't think that's the right move.
He's too old,
man. He's too old. They need a young coach like a Spoelstra, like a Brad Stevens, like a Nick Nurse to grow with that team and to give that team an identity. And to me, Mike D'Antoni's too stuck in his ways. I want a coach that's not stuck in his ways. I want a coach that's willing to experiment with zones. I want a coach that's willing to experiment with all these different styles of defensive play. I don't want someone that's just like, oh yeah, we're going to just run. We're just going to run. Like, I don't want that, bro. We've seen that does not work.
Honestly, I would like to see. I know I would say Mark Jackson, which I'm very, very serious about Mark Jackson. But honestly, Nick McMillan. I think.
Thank you. You finally given us a good coach take. You finally given us a good coach take. I love that take. I fucking love that take, Justin. Clap, because that's a good take. Nate McMillan's a great coach.
I like how that Indiana team play defense. They play hard, and with that type of talent, it could be he has some talent with his coaching now. So I think that could be a nice mixture.
Nate McMillan had the downside of having all of his stars injured. It wasn't that Nate McMillan wasn't willing to try things, because Nate McMillan was definitely, to me, I think Nate McMillan is right there with Stevens, Nurse, and Spoelstra. I think in the East, he was right under them, and I think that's a coach that it would be amazing for the Pelicans. He's a leader, he's a motivator, and he has great schemes. Bravo, Justin. Nate McMillan might be my first choice now. I love that. I love it. Way better than Mark Jesus Christ. Schubert, what are you thinking right now? Mike D'Antoni, coach?
Well, Mike D'Antoni, I mean, as someone who's dealt with Mike D'Antoni in numerous amounts of places, I'm not the biggest Mike D'Antoni guy.
I know.
I think he's just about phased out at this point, where there's a lot of younger coaches, and I guess in some ways we're just going to give any Hall of Famer a coaching job now. So
I'd rather Chauncey Billups than Mike D'Antoni, if I'm being honest.
But my question is, what are the best openings at the moment? We've seen the Nets get taken away. What we have? The Pacers still open, right?
Yeah,
and
Pacers,
the Bulls,
Philly, Chicago, New Orleans,
and now Houston.
To me, the best option. To me, and I know people are going to say this is biased, but it's the Pelicans. It really is. Let me explain why. You have a potential generational talent with Zion Williamson. You have an all-star potential talent, superstar talent. Most improved player with Brandon Ingram. You have a diamond in the rough with Lonzo Ball. If you can tap into him the right way, you can make capital. Him or draft capital. You can make him into an all-star or draft capital. You have draft capital from the Lakers and multitude of teams until 2025, 2026 that can get you trades and get you assets. Plus, you have an owner that is willing to spend as much money as possible to get a winner in New Orleans. And you have a GM and a GM staff that can find the right talent with you and is not bootstrapped by a cheap owner, where we see in some other small markets. And you have the best training staff in the NBA. I think the Pelicans' job is the best job, because if you're a coach, you can mold that team exactly how you want with no egos yet, no type of preconceived notions where if you go to Houston, you got to do what James Harden wants. Or you go to Philly, you got to do what Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons want. With this team, you can set the standard for what you want. That's my pitch for New Orleans.
That was really more where I was going with is, I believe that the Pelicans are a good spot. I believe the Pacers are a good spot. And I even believe that you can make the Bulls a good spot. But for me, if I was a coach, I would not want to go to Houston. I don't see, like, when
There's no
I
way
saw
to
Mike
win.
D'Antoni being gone, I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Because, I mean, the best name out there, in my opinion, is Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan is not going to go back with Westbrook.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to go to the Pelicans either. I think more likely he would probably go to Philadelphia or.
I don't want Billy Donovan here either. So, like, if I'm being honest, like.
I mean, that's fine. And I don't really think he'd be a good fit in New Orleans. So, I mean, like, but who would want to go to Houston? And why? And what do you do if you're the Houston Rockets? Because you've already kind of messed yourself up with this. Maybe a little bit of D'Antoni helped them figure out that they want to do this whole small ball thing. Well, now you're handcuffed. So it's the same kind of thing with like the Clippers. It's like, okay, it didn't work this season. You can't really do anything.
Yeah.
And even if they got rid of Doc Rivers, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So
I think Ty Lue might go to Houston. That might be something that intrigues Ty Lue. Like, maybe I can unlock James Harden some more and figure it out. But I agree with you. I wouldn't want to go to Houston. I would rank jobs as Pelicans 1. I'd say Pacers 2. I'd say Philly 3.
I'd say Philly 3 because you at least get 1 star.
Yeah, and then I'd say Bulls 4, Houston 5. And I'm putting the Bulls over them just because you can make that team whatever you want.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah. Justin, how you feel about the coaching carousel?
Yeah, I think that the Houston Rockets, I think it'll be a good pick for a coach that's already accomplished. That's won a championship like a Ty Lue.
That's how I feel the same way.
And I just think for any team any of those teams that have those superstars with the 76ers, the Rockets, they need a coach that's already accomplished, that's already been through it.
That the stars will listen to.
Yeah, exactly. Because each team has a big ego, and as far as the Pacers, that's a great job. I think that's a good young team, and I think that's good young. I think that's a good young team, and also you have the Bulls. They have Zach there, but as far as like best job, I still think that the Pelicans are up there just because how much talent they have, how much upside.
Yep.
But there's so many coaches out there. It's just about finding the right fit, really. That's really all.
Have we talked about Becky on the pod?
No, we have not.
We haven't talked.
I don't know much about her to say much, but I know she's been under Popovich for forever, and for Popovich to bring her on and to keep her on and to not give her like a title job because she's a woman. She actually has a real coaching job inside of the Spurs. She has to be a great coach.
I think so. I think that actually is a good one. I'm not even playing. I really think Becky Hammond would be a good option
for the Pels. Yeah, I think she'd be a good option for the Pels and the Pacers. I think those are the two. If I'm her and I get offered a job, I would only go to one of those two if I'm leaving the Spurs.
Yeah, someone solid.
I'm not going. If I'm her, I pray to God she does not go to the Rockets, and I pray to God she does not go to Philly.
Yeah, because she won a summer league. She won a championship with summer league. She's been around Pop. She's a legend. So I think she could,
handle up,
have a good franchise and run a good team.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But to me, Pacers or Pelicans, that's the two places I would go if I was her. In the Pelicans, because they have Swin Cash and they have their female owners, they are led by strong women. She would fit into the culture very well. So
yeah. I don't know how the young players would respond to her. I just don't know how their relationships are with that because
that's why I said Philly. I mean, not Philly. That's why I said Indiana because they're old enough they're old enough guys to where they'd be like, we'll respect her mind and everything, and they're talented enough to where she would want to go coach over there.
And also, the players have been so supportive of the WNBA. So I think they would probably play harder for her just to show, she could.
Times are different. It's not like the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think it would be a good fit just because of how things are going right now in the world.
1,000%. Well, that's all the basketball stuff we got this week. Schubert, let's get to NFL Week 1. We're not going to talk every game. We'll just talk about some of the key games. So we got Tampa Bay versus the Saints. Tom Brady. Schubert, what'd you think about Tampa Bay and the Saints and Tom Brady fluking game 1?
I thought both teams I thought Tampa Bay looked bad, and I thought the Saints looked average.
You thought they looked bad? I thought the Saints looked pretty damn good.
I thought their defense looked good.
Yeah,
I thought their offense looked bad.
I agree with that. The defense impressed me a lot.
Yeah, the defense was really impressive. Janoris Jenkins and Malcolm Jenkins are making a big impact. The secondary is the best it's been in years, and the front seven is a force to be reckoned with. The Saints defense is nothing to shake your hand at.
They got some guys.
But I still think that Tom Brady didn't produce. I mean, the 2 picks that he threw were on him. Terrible.
Yep. Yeah, bad throws. He just threw it to Janoris.
Yeah, pretty much. And, a lot of, I guess Evans kind of made himself known, but Godwin did not make himself known. Maybe it's credit to the Saints.
I can't even say Evans made himself known. Evans only had 1 touchdown, and that was at the end of the game.
I mean, I really think that with the Bucs, the jury's still out. We'll see what happens with this week, because I thought the Panthers were actually really impressive.
Yep, I agree.
In their game against the Raiders, and I think that Rule and Brady really have something going there. If you're a fantasy owner, I would suggest going after Robbie Anderson, the receiver.
I have.
So, I think that's going to be a huge game to watch when it comes to the Bucs, because they could easily go 0-2 real quickly, and that would be a real mess for them.
Also, another game I thought, because, that's pretty much all about the Saints and Bucs. It really just Saints defense looked
what
great.
I was going to say offensively is that it seems like the only player that's worth, if you're a fantasy owner, to have on the Saints is Alvin Kamara, because that's the only person they're going to throw passes to.
Because Michael Thomas is hurt, and that's going to affect. Maybe Sanders will get some touches, but I don't know if Drew Brees can stretch it down the field to get it to him.
Drew Brees threw 1 40-yard pass in the 4th quarter. And then the only other 40-yard pass I remember was thrown by Taysom Hill.
And I've been saying that's a problem. It's gonna catch up to us in the playoffs.
So I just don't know how long that's going to be sustainable.
I hope Jameis Winston is ready.
Kamara has proved that he can't be a workhorse. He can't.
Yeah.
Murray's still really solid, and they have 5 running backs on the roster, I'm pretty sure.
And the offensive line is really good, so Murray can get some blocking.
Line is really good.
That's the thing.
Line is really good.
Everything about the Saints is amazing except the quarterback.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a problem.
If the Saints feel like, maybe if Drew Brees thinks that he's got another year, then the Saints got to be like, no, I'm sorry.
No,
man.
we're done. It's over. He cannot throw the ball down the field, and I think come playoff time, they're going to have to let Jameis throw a couple deep passes or something. They're going to have to let Taysom Hill do it. So we're going to have to get some deep passes thrown because we're not going to cut it. But solid win for the Saints. We'll keep tabs on it. Another game that I thought was really interesting. Arizona beat the NFC champions 24-20, and we see Kyler Murray just ball out, man.
Looked like Oklahoma. Looked like Heisman year.
Yeah, it really did. Like Kyler Murray had 20. He was 26 of 40 attempts. He had 230 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But the rushing, he had 91 rushing yards. But the thing is, unlike Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton, who would take the hits, Kyler Murray only had 1 hit on him running. He was sliding, baseball slides, whole game.
Baseball slides, and he just puts on gear and goes out of bounds.
Yep. This Cardinals team looks good.
The Cardinals team looks good. The other thing that you didn't mention was D-Hop. D-Hop's out there. He's giving him a target. It's not old Larry Fitzgerald.
Yep.
That's exactly what they needed. The run game really is non-sustainable. I ended up trading Kenyon Drake off my fantasy team just because it doesn't matter who they have because they're not handing the ball off when you can get Kyler Murray to do whatever.
Yeah, if you're running, it's going to Kyler.
Yeah, but I thought that was a really impressive game. There's a lot. I think what the most impressive thing about Week 1, and it may be because that you had a lack of a preseason, is that the teams that you didn't expect to be good ended up really showing up. Jacksonville in particular, a team that everyone thought was tanking.
Gardner Minshew.
And at this point, I feel like their offense is one of the better ones. Because I was talking highly about the Colts last week, but after what I've seen from the Colts, they laid an egg. And I didn't really think the Titans played a very good game on Monday night.
They did not. So, none of those AFC South
on Thursday.
Yeah, I was about to say none of the AFC South teams besides Jacksonville played good. The Colts kind of pissed me off because I expected them to come out with a bang. Tennessee, I expected to come out with a bang. Even though they won, it was a hard-fought win. Also, another team that really pissed me off with just performance. Bro, what is up with Cleveland? Like, what
Cleveland?
the fuck?
Don't worry about them. No, I'm not even saying that in negative. I'm saying like they play a team that's possibly going to go 16-0.
Oh, okay.
Like that team is way too good for Cleveland. You know, they so many offensive weapons for Baltimore, and their defense is top notch.
Baltimore looks so good. Like Marquise Brown and Andrews is an amazing tight end. My goodness. Like Baltimore looks damn good. And if I'm Kansas City, I'm worried about my defense.
Sure. You know, that's definitely it's a matchup that they're going to have to watch out for. It's coming up here down the stretch.
So you think Cleveland got a shot?
Cleveland's got a shot. I think, you know, the rumors that they want to trade OBJ, I think it's warranted. I think they should get rid of him. I think it's too much, and it puts a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield.
And I think it's better for all parties involved.
So, yeah, get rid of him. Send him somewhere. You know, there's a lot of teams that I think could really use him. And
someone in the NFC
see what you can
East.
get out of it.
There's a team in the NFC East that could use them.
Which one? All of them.
After losing
Except
to
for the Cowboys.
After losing to the football team.
Yeah,
the Eagles. What an embarrassing loss. What an embarrassing loss.
I think it has more to do with how I think they made a statement. Washington did.
Yeah,
they did. And from what I'm hearing in the locker room, where Rivera had to go get an IV and Dwayne Haskins stepped up, made the speech, brought them back. He may be work out. He may be
the guy. You was talking shit on him last week. You were.
Well, I mean, that's what I said. Like last week is you have to figure out what's going to happen, and they're playing a big game this week against the Cardinals in the afternoon Fox slot. So that's a game that I'm going to be keeping an eye on for sure.
Well, we're gonna do our picks. Let's wait. We're gonna give them our picks for sure. But another team I was impressed with. Man, you pissed off that bad man in Green Bay, and he came to play. He showed y'all he still got it.
Yeah, the Vikings, what was really interesting about that game is that Kirk Cousins threw 5 total passes in the first half. When he came back out in the second half, threw 2 touchdowns. So I don't know. Maybe the Vikings need to.
But the lead was already gone. That's my thing. Like, we can't give the Vikings credit because I got to give shouts out to Ryan Russillo. They were already down 21, and that's when we see the Vikings make a step up. That, like, the game was already over, and the pressure was already gone. I can't give Kirk Cousins credit until I see him actually win a game from the start.
Well, what I'm saying is they never really gave him the opportunity from the start. They depended on the run. It didn't work out. Then they opened it up when they were down.
And then the run started working.
Where Kirk Cousins doesn't have any lights on him.
Yeah.
This is the perfect opportunity to let him just do his thing. And I thought that he was able to do that. The NFC North is just going to be a crazy battle right now.
It is because Mitch Trubisky came through. They ended up winning. Yeah, because
Mitch Trubisky came through.
But
he totally did.
He's gonna have to keep playing like that. Another team that impressed me: Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Man, Josh Allen and the Buffalo.
I don't know about that. Wait,
their defense is real. That's all I'm saying. The defense looked really good.
They played the Jets.
True, but let me say what Josh Allen did offensively. Josh Allen threw 2 touchdowns. He was 33 of 46. 312 yards, and he ran 57 yards. But that's going to happen. But I'm just saying, look at the completion totals and against attempts. It's just showing growth in Josh Allen. I'm just interested to see how the Bills do. Also, the New England Patriots and Cam Newton won, but I think that's a weight on it because he didn't throw any passes. He didn't throw he just ran 2 touchdowns, and I think that's going to be an issue. We got to see because on 3rd and longs they weren't letting him throw, so it's going to be something we need to see. Also, one other game, Dallas Cowboys. Did they get hosed? Did the refs cheat them out that game with that pass interference?
Honestly, if anyone got cheated out of the game, it was Cincinnati. Cincinnati got cheated out of the game because they scored a touchdown and they called offensive pass interference on AJ Green. You know, and actually,
shout out to Joe Burrow looking good.
Topic, Joe Burrow is probably gonna be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's looking really good. He's a great quarterback. Cincinnati has him something special. If they can build that defense, watch out. Joe Burrow, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. That's already a great offense.
If we're talking games to watch this week, the game that's probably on today while you're listening to this pod is the Bengals-Browns. And that's a big game for what we're saying. You know, Joe Burrow can really make a statement and get a big win here against the Browns.
And
Baker Mayfield needs to bounce back.
Yeah.
Needs to bounce back. You know, Joe Burrow can play every game without anything to lose. No, he's not going to lose his job.
Nope.
And no one's expecting him to win anyway.
Yep.
Browns have a lot of expectations. They got to go out and win. So
That's a fact.
Starting the week with Thursday night, that's huge.
Let me give a game, then you give a game, then I'll give another one because that's a good game.
All right.
I got Monday Night Football, the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Saints. We saw the Las Vegas Raiders.
Sunday football.
Yes. Oh, no, I thought it was Monday night.
Oh, it is Monday night.
It's Monday night. Yeah, no, I know. We saw Las Vegas Raiders put up a good game against the Panthers. We saw Josh Jacobs ball out, a great run game. We need to see more from Derek Carr, though. However, Derek Carr he was 22 of 30, had 239 yards, but only one touchdown. Can Derek Carr get exactly against the Panthers, which says he should have probably did more. So can the Saints stop the Raiders' run? Can Derek Carr do something? I think that's a good game. Schubert, give us another one.
Well, I'm going to go into the opening slot Sunday. The game that you should be watching for in that early slot is, I would say probably.
What you think?
There's a lot of teams that are up for redemption, and I think a lot of the games that you have teams that have already suffered a loss is going to be important. So I'm going to talk about a game that we haven't really mentioned yet is the Colts Vikings game.
Ooh, okay.
Both teams are suffering a loss. The Vikings pretty embarrassing loss, and the Colts too. Which
Colts
one of
more
those
so
teams,
embarrassing than the Vikings, in my opinion.
Yeah, which one of those teams are going to bounce back? Are the Vikings going to give Kirk Cousins a little more room to work? Are the Colts? Is Phillip Rivers going to step up and be the guy that he's got to be expected to be? At the end of the game in the Jacksonville Jaguars game, he had every opportunity to win that. T.Y. Hilton had some bad drops.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Fantasy
Colts
wise, pissed me off.
The Colts have to really do something here, and the Vikings are going to have to play catch up. So that's a pretty big game to watch out for in terms of teams that are trying to make up for last week.
A highly intensive game. However, I must say, I've noticed just from last year and this year starting off, the 325 slots are always the most boring slots. But there's a big game in the 325 slot with the Ravens and Texans. This past week was bad, man, at 325. The Ravens and Texans. Texans needs to bounce back. Ravens, Lamar Jackson, can he keep it going? Get the Deshaun Lamar battle. I think that's good. But there's also some other good games I'll just throw out there, some that I'm interested in. Broncos Steelers, Drew Lock. Can he keep it going? Can he show up? The Broncos defense isn't that good. Can Ben Roethlisberger keep it up? I'm trying to see. And Rams Eagles. Rams Eagles is an important game. Can Carson Wentz bounce back? And are the Rams for real? You got another one that you want to shout out?
Well, since you're
pretty good games this week.
Since you're trashing on the afternoon, neither one of these games are the ones that I want to pick, but those afternoon games this week are Washington and Arizona, which I think is interesting to watch. Yeah, and then the Chiefs and the Chargers, which could be a blowout. But I also think the Ravens could be a blowout. So, but the Sunday night game is pretty important. Seahawks Patriots. The Seahawks played a really
Russell Wilson
game
finally
against Atlanta.
This is his MVP year if they keep letting him throw like he is.
I think that the Patriots are pretenders. So this is going to be an opportunity where the Seahawks are just going to put the whipping on him and just,
and that's something.
What people don't understand about the Patriots is that they just don't have anyone on the team. Like all they did was play Miami last week, and Miami is not anyone that anyone expects. I wouldn't say they're tanking. I just say that they're just a few years out, and it's not due to their coach. It's just due to the lack of players and not having the plan yet. Tua is still waiting in the wings. Yep. Miami is going to be a force to be reckoned with later.
Pretty soon, because Brian Flores is building a culture. It's not the coach. Flores is a great coach. So
no, yeah, I have a lot of faith in the Dolphins, but it's just not ready yet. Where the Patriots, a lot of people want to give them too much credit way too early.
We got to wait.
The Seahawks are going to humble them next week.
Well, next week we will bring back the segment for football. Are they real or are they fake? To talk about some of these teams in week 3, we're going to do it, and we're going to see if Schubert's team, the Patriots, are a pretender. Real quick, let's just give a fantasy update from the Bros Who Think League, just to let you guys know how people are doing. I want to call out some people and throw some shots. So let me bring out the Bros Who Think Fantasy League. Justin didn't play because he don't think he's good at football. Told his ass he should have played. But I digress. Let's get to the standings. Right now, Brooklyn beat Schubert last week. Let me get the score. Hold on. I
think I scored like 130 or something.
I got to give Schubert his props. He played a great game. Brooklyn beat Schubert 168 to 149. Brooklyn just had one of the best fantasy games possible. And so Schubert's still a tier 1 team. Doom got bust up by the boy, 145 to 141, and he was talking big shit about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray came, showed his ass, and then Ian, our editor, lost to the third member of the just my dad, because we needed someone to join. And let me just shout out Ian, the editor. My dad had 3 people that didn't play, and Ian still got his ass whooped. 3 zeros.
Damn.
3 zeros, Ian. I know you're listening to this right now.
Dude, who's got Michael Thomas in that league is my question.
Ian.
Oof. Oof.
Ian got so many problems.
He might need to talk trade with me.
Shout out to Ian. We love you, brother. All right, this week, let me tell you all the matchups, and we'll come back and tell you all the winners next week. This week, I'm playing Brooklyn. Schubert is playing my dad, and Ian is playing Doom. We will come back and give you guys updates each week. But that's all the time we have this week on the pod. Justin, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, so my handle is Justin Baptiste 22. I'm on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. And you guys can also check out my blog, tradesandlays.com. I've been covering the playoffs. The next one should be the Nuggets and Lakers. So check that out. And the draft, we actually found out when the NBA draft is starting now.
Yes, we did.
It'll be on the 18th. So look out for some
of November or October? November.
Yeah, they moved it back, yeah.
Yeah, 18th of November. Y'all be sure to check out Trades and Lays. Justin's doing some good articles covering the playoffs. Y'all definitely be sure to check that out. Schubert, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Schubert14, and listen to the Bros Who Binge podcast every week. This past week, we just went more into our rotation. Our rotation of shows that we're watching, and we talked some news, did the Dune trailer, stuff like that. This week we'll have a movie to review with what's it called? Devil All the Time.
Devil All the Time. I hear it's really good.
All right, well, both of us will have watched that, and we'll be talking about it. So
yep, y'all be sure to check that out. Y'all follow Schubert, and be sure to check out our last week's episode. And if you just checked out Tenet, that's 2 episodes ago, our Tenet review. You can follow me at BWT. Follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. If you're an anime fan, the most recent episode of Anime Talk is out now. By the time you guys hear it, it is out. Be sure to check that out. Also, on Friday, the new Run It Back will be out. The anime Run It Back. Me and Chris are reviewed Ghost in the Shell. Be sure to check that out, as well as be on the lookout on the Bros Who Think Twitter for the new Run It Back live action movie poll. Which superhero movie will we review first? That poll will be up probably on Friday, just to give everybody some time and let the other Run It Backs get some views up. Also, be sure to check out, there's going to be a new manga review up this week for Kaiju number 8. There's also going to be some new anime videos up this weekend about Spy Family and some other stuff. Just be sure to follow the YouTube. Subscribe. If you're an audio listener, I appreciate and love you for listening to this podcast and to all the podcasts you listen to. Just want to let you know, you don't have to if you don't want to. Just check out the YouTube. We have a lot of great content on the YouTube. I understand that the YouTube's just getting started, and if you've been on the audio form, look, you're going to stay there. I get it. Just check it out. You may have some stuff you like. Bros Who Think Network on YouTube. Please subscribe. But if you're an audio listener, subscribe to Spotify, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to SoundCloud, and leave us a comment, leave us a like. It helps us out tremendously. Thank you. Thank you to Ben Reyn for coming on the pod. Thank you to Dru Productions. But that's all the time we have this week. We'll talk to you again next Thursday. For Doom, for Brooklyn, for Justin, for Schubert, for Ben, for Drew, my name is Lyndon. You guys have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy football, sports, content. Everything's at an all-time high. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Until then, peace.